What's up, everyone? Welcome to Knowledge and Relationships. This is your boy M3. And I've been gone for a minute, but we're back at it. And I got the crew with me. Got Sophisticated Jerk, and I got Stan Joseph, Lee Thompson. What up, everybody?
Chilling, hey, man. Up? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm just coming.
I saw you playing the organs early, man.
Yeah, man, because I gotta get at it, man. Because right now, man, we're gonna have a nice, wholesome topic, right? And it's all about like what the type of women that us good men prefer. Okay. And of course, for the sake of YouTube, I can't really add the exact title, but tonight's segment is basically, does a man prefer a wholesome woman or a wholesome woman? Okay. So you pick and choose, right?
Well, can we just say bad girl just to be politically correct?
Nah.
I like saying hoes. Okay, so we're gonna rock with that. And
so you said wholesome and wholesome, right?
Right.
Okay.
We're gonna keep it like somewhat PG-13, man. Before we just go ballistic, right?
So we classifying Stan as a good guy today. That's Mr. Send for you. Send you to heaven, right? Send you to heaven on Christian Mingles.
You to heaven, nigga.
Sex is my poison. I was a simp.
So you playing catch up now, huh?
Yeah, I was, man. The stories I can tell you, meeting some girl. You remember we used to have long distance? You had AT&T and MCI. And one time I met a girl who's trying to switch the phone over, and she was from Pensacola, Florida, but turned out she was an inmate.
Mm-hmm.
And she
inmate.
So I had my first female pen pal at age 18.
Oh, real?
She hooked me up on them deals. And then found out she was also a single mom. But your parents see all the letters that was coming in. So mine got intercepted, and my mom was not having it. You're like, what?
Oh shit! I gotta play the "Now You're a Single Mom" song, man. Look! When I get that music ready, anytime y'all start singing "Single Moms," though, man.
So Stan, did she rob you?
No. She was. I was already in California, so there was no in the world. Like I did a lot of stuff. My mom was like, she didn't know how much of a simp I was. So I graduated from high school, and I was the problem child. Once I graduated from high school, dating a 35-year-old woman, age 25, girlfriend 22. I'm just like going out.
Okay.
Getting in love, making the little mixtapes.
Oh, you was making the mixtapes.
Yes.
Look. Before we start talking about love and Stan's mixtapes, right? I gotta give warm shout outs, right, to the people who just came up in there to help support. First, I gotta give the shout outs to the people who came in the IG, right? So shout outs to you guys. Shout outs to the Intellectual Soapbox. I see you, Mr. Best. And then, of course, everybody who came into the YouTube sector. What up, YouTube gang? Shout outs to Truth and Purpose Nexus. What up, Truth? Blood in. What up, my brother?
What's good, okay. Truth?
And then Sophisticated Jerk said he'll hit you up. And then we have Lola. She just can't wait. She just can't wait.
When Lola coming in? She was doing all that talking.
She's gonna come in soon.
She gonna give you that smoke.
Yeah. Lola's been taking her notes studying because the last time, because part one we had her head down for a minute though. So she gotta keep her head up. And then we got B-Eazy, President B-Eazy, man, of the live
stream. Good, B-Eazy.
So salute to my brother. So Stan on eHarmony. Stan Tinder Joseph. He had a jailbird. Yes. Simply. Oh man.
Yeah, man.
And then
Joseph.
Yeah. And then also, wait, hold on. I went over that way, so hold on, I gotta check. Now the sun is out, but it looks like it's raining though. This is strange. Cause see, when the raindrops fall from the sky, we got a Canadian girl that's fly. And we got She Stole My Thunder. What up? Oh. My bad. Wrong. I'm sorry. Sorry about
messing
that.
up.
But she says, hello, everyone. Knowledge relationships, long time no see. Yes. Your boy's been on a long hiatus, though. But we're back. And I mean, look, we're more ratchet than ever, right? But in a more sophisticated way.
Shout out.
No pun intended.
Damn. B-Eazy says she buck broke you, bruh.
Lola the Stips. Making them corn tapes. Okay. Oh man, people are agreeing too. Come on, Stan. You gotta do better.
Man, at least one thing for sure. I'll admit it. Nobody else is brave enough to do it. Yeah, I know y'all was in love. Y'all know y'all was sipping. Y'all know y'all gave them bad girls like nobody understand you but me.
but she might understand, right? She misses the simp era, right? When we used to like handwritten the letters and then we have somebody pass it to us on our behalf because we were so shy.
Oh, I was so shy. I was gonna get mine. I ain't need no help.
Let's see. I need you all at us as well. Okay. All right. Tap in. All right. And she says, oh no, looks like I'm causing the sound effect issues. Simping was the right passage. So anyway, shout out to everybody, man. We still got more people in the IG side too. Shout out to like Suma. Shout out to Jane Sung. Yeah, shout out to you guys for tuning in, man. So appreciate you guys. All right, man. Let's go ahead and we're gonna get to it. Now, let me post a link up here, and then I'm gonna pin it because it's the right thing for me to do. So that way you guys could join in, and so we can have a discussion. All right. So look, you know how it was, man. Like we didn't really plan to like really have this type of discussion. Originally, we was going to talk about the sisterhood, but we had to push that for next week because, for whatever reason, man, like, somebody mentioned about church and a whole bunch of us got triggered. And so we had to go ahead and tell our survival stories because, man, when you survive from Big Chaz Christian Church, right? You gotta stay strong, man. You gotta stay 10 toes down.
Allegedly, we gotta put this out here. The views of the people that you're watching now is not the same as the stations or the network that's providing you this entertainment. Please be advised that we discuss is not politically, financial, medical, nor legal. This is information and entertainment purposes only. Allegedly, this is what this church is called. It's called a bunch of stuff too. Mm-hmm. But allegedly,
it's not the name of the actual church. It's based off of what do they call it? They said based off of fictional.
Stan sounds shook. Stan sounds like he a little nervous, man. What happened over there, Stan? What's up?
I want to keep us on the up and up because normally it's my turn to go ahead and be wild, but I'm just looking out for our boy and just.
We'll keep it mild though. But look. Anyways, I post a link up there, Lola, where you at? If you do come up, you'll be welcome. But look, okay. So I know people had a hard time, right? And salutes to Wally. I know people had a hard time like listening to the truth of things. And part of me felt so bad. I was like, man, maybe going forward I should start lying to women because I never knew that women like just really appreciate lies and fairy tales so much. But anytime like when I straightforward and I tell you the truth about people who practice the art of religion. Now here's the thing. People get it mixed up like, okay, when you're talking bad about Christianity or other religions, that you're disrespecting God. But here's the thing, right? Am I the one who's really disrespecting God, or are you the one that's disrespecting God? Because here's the thing, right? Everybody always like to put things in God's name when they use them as a scapegoat. And also, guys, please donate, right? The Cash App, the Venmo, the PayPal. Donate because I'm giving you guys valuable free content, right? We're not monetized on YouTube, so we need some money, right? But look, to me, church is like a scam, man. And it's the home of the single mom. And so the reason why I'm saying this, right? Because And shout outs to the whatever podcast, because we're gonna be playing like a clip of them, right? And we're gonna pause it every now and then based off of fair use. But you know, women now these days, or people, I guess, right? People, everybody have a past, just to be fair. But I think when women, like, when they have their past and they have the stuff that's going on, they feel like church is the answer. Like, when you go to church, it's gonna fix your problems. I had an old lady, man, like, earlier today, like at work, was telling me, like, brother, we're gonna have Bible talk on Thursday night.
Damn,
And you know what? We need you more than ever, brother. We need you. Okay. The Lord needs you. I'm like, yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Look, I ain't trying to
Thank you for being kind. Thank you for being kind to the
right.
Because her heart was in the right place.
It was. It was in the right place, and I'm not going to disrespect on that, but at the same time, it's like everybody always want to like give the credit, right, to like this higher being, but then yet when shit happens, then you want to take the responsibility off of the higher being. That's just me. There's a whole lot of stuff I could talk about with church stuff though, but I'm just giving that little snippet.
So did you go on that Thursday church session?
Oh hell no! She's talking about this person. I ain't showing up. I told her, maybe. Look, and you know what? And I felt bad because I kind of like lied to her though. But at the time, she kind of caught me off guard, in front of a couple of people. I was like, well, maybe when I like live a little bit closer to you, in a certain city, then maybe I'll go. Should have just told her no.
Okay.
I didn't want to hurt the lady's feelings. Like she was passionate,
Yeah, I understand. But I always tell people, church, if you're single in church, it's like it's Mean Girls meets Game of Thrones.
Damn. You said they rolling around like Cersei in there, huh?
Yeah, it's both. Roll up into one. Mean Girls versus Games of Thrones. It's do you know the right people? Do you hang around the right people? Are you with the right families? Are you connected with the right person? Are you mentored by the right person? And then how do you move and all the other stuff? It becomes very cliquish. That's why I said on Saturday's show that a lot of times Christianity becomes like a club as opposed to like, yo, we all sin. So acting like we innocent, like that's a requirement to become a Christian. You have to have sin. So and confess your sin. So why you acting innocent? Like it's beyond me. Cause like, yo, you have no compassion. You're acting like you was always so good and pure. And I'm like, no, that doesn't work. For other people, it works. They want to. That's why I call it the cult of innocence. People want to act like they're innocent, and they're not.
So, like you said, they had like different groups and stuff. So, our cliques. That's what you said. So it broke down to like, how do them cliques divide up a little bit?
Divide the cliques?
Well, I'm saying, how do the cliques kind of break down within the church?
Well, for me, I didn't do cliques because I just didn't listen to people. I'm grown. Like, I already left high school, graduated, got a diploma, went to college. I don't do that clique stuff. So, it was weird. It was like, here's one thing I noticed. When it came to the singles, it was the people who were younger from college, and then the people who are older and who's been in church a lot longer. And it was versus new people versus older people. And it was like, to me, that was weird. And then to have them intersect as though they're equal was also not okay, because we're not equal. I don't need a 19-year-old or a 20-something-year-old to tell me what to do. Like, you're still a virgin. Please go somewhere else. Like, go away before we get you sacrificed to a deity or something like that. So that.
but let me break down.
I'm a Haitian. I gotta say, I'm a Haitian. Disclaimer: I'm a Haitian. So that's what I think of. Like, if you bother me too much, I'm like, okay, then you just gonna be a sacrifice. Not me. but somebody else needs to go sacrifice you because you're useless. But but that was one instance, and then there was also this thing about like people quickly got married so they can be left alone, and it was easier. Like once you got married, you didn't have to follow church leadership because your husband was the leader, and also you're the wife. Like I don't want to go to church at 10 o'clock. We have other stuff we're gonna do. We're gonna go on vacation. We're gonna do some other stuff. So that's what I saw. A lot of times it was that. And then for the mean girls, man. So what's up, Miss Polly?
What's good, Miss Polly?
Hello.
The mean girl aspect of it would be like the people that was quote unquote popular and who use their leadership as a popular tool. Seek out other people who was real leaders to destroy those leaders or to bring them in. That's one. Or two, they made it seem like they were so above everybody else to be desired. At the same time, just cutting everybody off at the legs and just treating people like dirt. There was like one person that was in my house church. He told another cat, we had like a group, and we followed the apostolic movement. So basically, it's like you have a big church, and then everybody's broken up into smaller groups to make sure everybody's taken care of, right? That's the New Testament. If you look up Acts, so that's how they ran the churches in the books of Acts. So one time, the person told one of my peers, like, hey, you need to listen to me. I'm the leader. Nobody here is above me. When I tell you to do something, do something. And I had to turn quickly to that guy. I'm like, don't listen to him. Right now, he's going through something. That's BS. You did the right thing. You're a grown man. That's not okay, what he just told you. Now, and a lot of times I just did that. Just had to step in real quick to assure the other person because we're all adults. You just can't talk to people like that.
Right. I was gonna break more down like on the click aspect because
because you have more. Because like when I came around, the click stuff slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, it's more. Well, it was still around, but I get what you're saying. Like it became a little bit more subtle, but
yeah.
So part of like just being a click, right, is that once you're baptized, now it's no longer about like like Jesus Christ or whatever. Now it's about like, okay, what are you used for in the church? Do you have a certain type of utility that benefits the congregation? And if you have some type of talent or skill that could actually drive people, or some type of status that could drive people right to the church, then you're going to be welcomed into a club. And what I mean by that club, it's like they'll put you like in leadership classes, like secret leadership classes. They're going to groom you. You know what I mean? Not train, but groom you.
You said groom?
Mm-hmm. Groom, yeah.
Groom. They're going to groom you to be the type of man that they want you to be. Okay? If they see that you have like a certain type of potential. Now, with those stipulations, you can't talk back. You have to be a yes man. You have to take ugly women out on dates, and you have to like it.
You cannot call them ugly.
So what they was like cherry picking females or something? Like, hey,
no,
you gotta take Shalonda.
No. It was you went on dates. You can't be attracted to somebody. You can't go on a date with someone that you're attracted to.
What the fuck?
No, because that's not God love. That is what kind of love is that?
You gotta agape love or something. No, some of those. But you gotta love the person from the inside. She says, "Where did Miss Polly go?" Miss Polly, she says she has some internet issues, but she says she'll be right back. Or Lola, and I sent you the link in your messenger as well too.
So before you break that up, who's like, was it one of the leaders that was like, "Hey, Stan, you need to go out with Yolanda"?
Talking about the Fantastic Four.
Oh, I did Fantastic Four. Okay, so Fantastic Four is like you go on 4 consecutive dates, and then you have to make that person into your girlfriend or something like that, or something that it was something the Terrific Tens. I didn't understand none of it.
Okay, I'll break that down.
But you know what I'm saying? Because it came for me when I came around, they stopped all that stuff.
So they had names for this shit.
Yeah, so I had to go through the struggle then.
Fantastic Four and the Terrific 10.
Yeah, like if you go,
I was definitely in a cult.
I never heard for Fantastic 10, but look, with the Fantastic Four, it was definitely inspired by, of course, the Fantastic Four movie, and it was like, okay, this is what we want these guys to do, right? And at first, it was kind of like a subtle way of how to tell a person you're interested in. But I remember somebody was like trying to tell me, hey, I want you to go on this Fantastic Four date with this person, right? And have a good time. I was like, hell to the fucking no. Like, one, she had a fucked up attitude. She had a fucked up character, right? Instead, you know who I'm talking about because that was your ex, but it was a fucked up individual. I'm sorry, Stan.
Oh my god!
So this was way before you came in here.
You ain't give Stan a heads up. You ain't pull him to the side like, look, man, like they got you on this Fantastic Four date. Hey, you might want to skip out on this. Stan, he left you hanging.
But here's the scary part. No, go ahead, M3. I'm sorry.
No, but at the time, right? Like, I didn't really know Stan, like, you know, like that well. I think when I started know Stan was like kind of like in the middle, like when he was already going through it with dating that person or whatever. And I remember this woman hit me up, and then Stan hit me up, and I was like, oh, so I put two of together. I was like, I didn't even know they was like really dating that seriously like that. So it was already too late. But that's how me and Stan, we kind of bonded through that because I was like, oh man, like
y'all trauma bonded, huh?
No, even before that, we were still. But I didn't do all that know the right people stuff. It's like if you're kind to me and you talk and we converse and you're good people, that's me. I don't believe in cliques because if you like real leadership, like that's not even real. You're doing cliques. Like everybody has value. You gotta look at the whole team. Like that's never been my thing. It's just
right.
You know, I can't operate within the clique and all this weird stuff. Like either you're a good person or not. And if you're not a good person, which I had quite a few of them that weren't good, and they met Steven. And
for the record, who's Steven?
I never met Steven.
The personality that like comes out that's like
I was fortunate not to meet that guy.
Yeah, like it wasn't nice. I had like I'm grateful for like the older brothers that was in church that came in real quick to hug me and pull me to the side because them guys were about to meet Steven. Because I had no problem. Like, look, we about to go down today in church. So
But yeah, to wrap up Sophisticated Jerk, man, like the clique is basically like what could you just provide in a religious sense, but they'll massively add something spiritual. Now the problem is if you're like me and you have a mouth and you utilize that tool, you talk back, and you have a reputation of bringing women to the church, baptizing them, bringing your parents to the church, baptizing them, bringing your friends to the church, baptizing them, and they can't do that to their own families, then they hate you for that. And
what it shows is that he got like strong spiritual leadership, and it's like,
yeah, it's like the opposite of what's contrary to what they're talking about. But
yeah,
I mean, it's what it is. I'm a spiritual Mac Daddy, so
yeah,
that's why.
But sadly, right, this is not just this church or all. This is happening to all churches. I sent you guys a clip of how this minister, this guy who has his own podcast, and he talked about how churches treat single people, and they treat us like we're supposed to be to serve them, like we're just their servant. And for me, I'm just like, yo, y'all single, like what y'all doing? And I was like, when I found out somebody else was single, I'm making double dates, a couple people that I known they got married because I plug people in like, hey, meet this person, that person. So like a lot of people got married. I'm like, okay, cool. But that's the thing, like we're single. I'm like, I ain't your slave. That's what you got kids for. Put them to work. I'm single.
Shout out to matchmaker stand
Yeah,
up.
I'm like, you married. Put your husband to work. Put your wife to work. And put your kids to work. Not me. I'm single. I can move, and that's because the Bible. The people who moved the Bible were all single. So majority of people in the Bible were single that moved the Bible. So they ain't moved the Bible because they got married. They moved the Bible because they got single. So,
Stan, we gotta let Miss Polly speak real quick because
What's
I
up,
know
Miss
she
Polly?
came in there. I know she's
Miss Polly, what's your take on this fuckery that they talk about?
Yeah, because Miss Polly got bored. She didn't know all these tricks. The flirt to convert.
No, we ain't gonna.
No,
No,
church
they're not
girls
gonna
will
do
be
that.
coming in.
I mean,
I'm trying to
I
bring
mean,
them
I
to
was
Friday
a
night.
church lady. I mean, I went to church, on a regular basis as a young lady for a good minute. You make good connections, good stuff. But like when I got older, not so much in the dating at church.
Not so much a dating at church. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, when you went to that particular church, right? Did they kind of press the issue on dating within the congregation, or?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I'll say like so with my oldest son, since I can't explain this. Okay, so they were 7-Day Adventists, and I was Christian, and so to me, I don't want to say I'm fluidy when it comes to religion, but just like within the Christianity bubble, I can still go to attend your church and still have my own beliefs, but I know where you're coming from. So when we have conversations, when it's 7-Day Adventist, especially when it comes to just the Old Testament, I don't feel like that's nothing. It's not hurting nothing. Whatever. You don't want me to eat some seafood, okay? We don't got to eat pork, all right? We could just, talk about God. It's cool. So
I'm eating bacon. I used to go 7-Day Adventist with McDonald's, bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. So I was bad.
In the morning. You got me here at 7:00 in the morning on a Saturday.
No breakfast sandwich, sir. Yeah, I would be that person who would come to the 7-Day Adventist church with the sandwich with delightful sausage. And I would let them know, like, I'm sorry, but that's just, that's okay. I respect you and what you believe, and that's fine. But this sandwich is good. Like that, I was doing stuff like that. So I would date somebody who was in that, and I was cool. It was fine. Jamaicans, usually in Florida, that's where they be at 7-Day Adventist. So I just went, that I think they did push it because since I wasn't part of their congregation, it was a problem. It was.
Let me ask you another question because, like, just the interaction aspects, which it falls to this title, like, what type of woman, and for you, what type of man do we prefer, right, in relationships? Whether it be like a person that is supposed to be quote unquote wholesome, like holy, or a person who is whole.
Whole-ish.
Oh,
yeah. That's it better. A person who is whole-ish versus a person who's holy, right?
Oh.
So this whole started up because Stan and them three, they said wholesome women are boring.
Wait, no, SJ, we never got your point of view on that.
Why you say that? Now Stanley know that the freaks are the ones in the church. Don't do that.
Oh no. If you go to another church, the freaks are the Catholics.
They all freaky. Because they're told it's bad. So they already on the edge. They on the edge waiting for somebody to push them over.
So you think like Pentecostals count too? And
I think they all count. Even the Mormons. The Mormons. Every time you hear something about Mormons, they wilding.
Damn.
And they supposed to be the most strictest. Then they wilding like no other. You hear about all kind of crazy stuff they be doing in the bedroom. Wilding. Just wilding. There's like a new series or something that's coming on Netflix. And it's about like this these couples that were Mormon. They were having great stuff on TikTok. Do these TikToks like, oh, we're all friends and we're couples and friends, and they were swinging. Swinging. All couples were swinging.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Miss Polly, right? And I agree with you, right? I think like holy girls, right? Are have more of a spark and a freak in them versus the upright, hoish type of women. But it's really hard to get the whole out of the lead, right? You know what I mean? So it's really hard to kind of get that.
I mean, you say that, but do the holy men actually want a holy woman, or they want that? They just want the holy. They want the whole woman to be the hoe for them. That's all it is. They just want to be just.
But they can't do the job right. Here's the thing. There's too many rules to even break those barriers. Because imagine Miss Polly, right? Put yourself in a guy's shoes, right?
Okay.
Imagine you just want to do all the right things, right? Just to get up in that church booty, all right? And you know the stipulations. I mean, come on, like church booty is like the best booty to see, right? But however, right? You gotta go through the engagement. You gotta get married to them. You can't fornicate. You can't. What's it called? Shack it up.
No, M3. You can't fornicate. Because sex with condoms is not sex. That's one.
But let the pastor tell you.
Okay, no, I need sophisticated jerk to stop this foolishness immediately.
But
don't let him
staying getting this TikTok advice and stuff.
I got to talk about the Catholics real quick. If she has anal sex, she's still a virgin.
And that's why all those 7-day Adventist women are doing that. Because I hear that all the time in their church. That's all they say. I'm virgin for my husband. Baby, no. You didn't let everybody run a train through you. Your behind no longer is, was used for. It's a tunnel.
Look, Mr. Haitian.
That was what we learned in church. It's like if you're having anal sex, that means if she's having anal sex, that means she's still a virgin.
Now that don't even make sense. You can't eat a piece of sausage, but you can let somebody put a sausage in the wrong hole. Oh, definitely.
With a condom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that made for some reason. Okay.
Huh?
I said, then no wonder the ass is all swelled up and stuff. All that anal probe in them.
Right? It's too much. This is ridiculous.
They're trying to find ways to express their love sexually.
But here's the other thing, Stan. Right now, especially, and I thought the one that we went to was the only one, but I'm now understanding that there's other churches, right, where they practice not spending time alone with the opposite gender. And what's worse is that you can't even sit next to them. Yes. Men over here, women over here. Men talk to men, women talk to women. And to me, like, I need like that balance, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm down to connect with my covering, but I ain't down to like connect with you every single time. I'm like, brother, please let me go ahead and mac on this church sister real quick. Give her the macaroni game with cheese, so I could try I can't. Well, again, the cheek clap is forbidden. So
the Jehovah's Witness. I used to hang out with them too. Matter of fact, I worked for a group of Jehovah's Witnesses. They were like, I don't know, it was weird. I didn't know they're Jehovah's Witnesses, and then I found out, and they were awesome. Actually, pretty cool. It was really awesome to see how they interacted. But the whole they just like hire from people that they know at the church and stuff like that. I just so happened when I went there, I was able to work with them. That was a cool experience. I enjoyed every moment of it, but I saw how they function as a whole, as a church, as a community, and they are far beyond. They are amazing as a group. The way they have community is amazing. The way they find their children spouses, amazing.
Do they hire escorts within the congregation?
I love it. I've never seen
how they go about the community. Break that down, though. Okay,
yeah. So the experience that I was seeing and watching was basically the families kind of know each other because they all congregate all throughout the week or whatever. But they might say, hey, this looks like a young person that their family's cool. They'll have conversations about it, and they'll have these supervised dates because it's kind of like, oh, your family comes over, hangs out, we have dinner, but it's kind of like they're starting to get to know the other person in a group setting with the family, and everybody's kind of hanging around each other. a lot of like group stuff. So it kind of seems like they're like dating the family also. What they
So,
also do is they allow them to like let's say you're a young lady, you're 17, you hot looking sexy out there, you want to go to the club. Your mom might let you go out there, have fun a little bit. You have to go out, you go out with a friend, another friend from the church, whatever. You might, still kind of supervise still. But once they have a conversation about who they would think they would like you to start dating, then they start like inviting that person over a lot more and kind of trying to set it up. Which and they usually works out pretty well. Their relationships last pretty long. I've seen like 3 or 4 in the time I was there, like where they set up where they were young ladies. They got kind of matched. They would have fun with guys they liked, and it would be totally different too. Like one girl I met, like she was into black guys, right? She was a nice looking Megan Fox looking lady. And she was young and she liked black guys. And she was like, and she's like, but there's not a lot of black guys in the church I'm at, whatever. Yeah, and in that area, whatever. There are obviously there, but not where we were. So she was like, okay. And she would start, hang out with guys. Her mom was like, hey, you're about to be 18. It's time to start looking for a husband. And basically they started like, she saw a couple, their mom like start introducing them to like 3 to 5 different guys who were serious that they thought would be a good match for her. And, she ended up marrying a guy who was like blonde hair, blue eyes, pale as hell. But I mean, she's like, he really cared about her. He told her what he was gonna do for her. And like they were in a house. I think he was only like 2 years older than her. Like they were already in the house. The family comes together, gets them a house. The community, helps them find, work. Yep. Congregation helps them learn new skills so that they can be a man who provides for their family because they're going to teach them through the congregation. So it's like they're setting them up for success in the long run. So not only is the church saying, hey, these 2 people want to get married. Oh, he needs a skill so he can take care of this woman and give her, children and make sure he can provide. Okay, we're going to send him over here to John, who has a construction company. We're going to show him how to get it together so he can now provide for that family.
Yeah,
so
it sounds
that's what
good,
they do.
Miss Paula,
Hey, listen, it worked. I saw it. I thought it was amazing.
I know. I'm gonna put this disclaimer for anybody becoming Jehovah's Witnesses.
I didn't say had Jehovah's Witnesses.
What you see, Stan?
Like, look, like for her, I don't know what kingdom meetings that she didn't go on Saturdays, but they have the Kingdom Hall meetings. Yeah, because that's you Jehovah's Witnesses. You go to Kingdom Hall meetings. So I got some friends who are survivors of Jehovah's Witnesses. Here's something: you don't go to college. That's the thing. So that's why they're able to do what they do. Your family do set you up for that because you will get married young because you're not going to college. So you don't go to college. You don't participate in politics. You don't participate in the military. So your world is this bubble. So I don't know what to tell people who already experienced life. I don't know if you can handle going back into a bubble and act like you're pure. Good luck with that part.
Well, there's something else too.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe like you said, the Kingdom Hall. Yeah, I mean, but maybe some people who are in the Kingdom Hall. The one now, I'm not trying to call them out and say they're not virtuous, but the way that particular Kingdom Hall I saw moving, how they allow it almost felt like it was Amish. It's like they let them kind of have that freedom at 16, 17, because in Florida, 16, 17, they have clubs. They have clubs you can go to.
That's true.
So they were able to experience like kind of be having fun and see if that's like the path they wanted to go or get that out of their system maybe for 2-3 years. And then I was like, oh, so it felt like it was Amish the way I looked at it.
However, this is the part about it though, like it's to get it out your system, but also if you come back doing drugs, you're kicked out. It's not one of those things where, oh, let's get you some help. So you just excommunicated from the church. So it has that point. And then also like some of my friends, they had to leave because they did want to experience life. They didn't want to stay stuck. And also there's something to be said about you marrying so young and you not experience life. You feel like you're left behind like everybody else. Because certain places like Florida, you can get lost in the South because there's certain parts of Florida, it can be Quaker real quick. And even though it's not a Quaker, but California, there's too much stuff out here. You're gonna feel left out being 20, and you got 4 kids at 20 on purpose in the year 2024. So
Yeah. Well, I know you said that, Stan, but there's a lot of women out here busting it wide open and having 4 kids by 21, and they ain't under no religious congregation at all.
Oh,
So
That's
it's
true.
called FDSC, the welfare department.
oh,
Shout out to Daddy Government.
But Stan, the people that you knew that was under the Jehovah Witness that left and experienced life, they ain't had no regrets or they ain't struggled once they got out there.
No, they did real good. What I learned from them is like you really didn't need college. So I learned to not lead with my education, but lead with my principles and character. And I've gotten really far with it. And then when people find out I'm educated, they like get spooky and scared. I'm like, oh, black man with education, 2 degrees, whoopee. But on the West Coast, it does happen, right? And so I learned that from them. And also I've learned to appreciate life. And they also, what I love for them was when they celebrated holidays. So that was a big deal for them to celebrate their own birthday, the recognition of birthdays during Christmas. It was nothing elaborate, but like little stuff that they were denied. And I understood because I grew up Pentecostal and it was like almost the same thing. Like Halloween, I can't go to school. I gotta come back and I gotta be careful, like repeating Shakespeare out loud because it sounds like a spell. And so,
yeah. Wait, Stan, I do have a question real quick.
Yeah.
So Pentecostals, they don't celebrate holidays either?
Yeah, it's considered pagan. So
And
Halloween is pagan.
yeah.
Thanksgiving, we call it something else. And then Christmas was okay, but Christmas was called like a winter revival or something like that. Then New Year's was like revival. So that was like, it was covered up. Easter was big.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Easter was big. 4th of July, we called it something else. But we went out, we saw fireworks, but we didn't say happy 4th of July. It was something else.
But what about Labor Day? They don't celebrate Labor Day too, like national holidays and stuff?
No, again, it's covered up with a revival. So that means like something was
the revival days, yeah.
Yeah, they always covered a revival. It was like always revival. You could go to church like 4 nights in a row straight.
Yeah, you go like 4 days.
4 days.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
I was invited to one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was titled something else though, but yeah, it was something like that where I think it was like annual, right? Like
yeah, it's from the same time. Yeah,
it's like you listen to these lessons, like you're praying.
Oh yeah, it's like a Bible study.
And again, I mean, bless her heart. Shout outs to
that sounds bad, don't
you
it?
know
because it was like Halloween. It got covered up with like Harvest Day, but it was like not only covering up just Halloween, is covering up the Day of the Dead. And a lot of us is from the islands or Latinos, so they're like, okay, you guys not gonna be lighting up nothing and bringing dead people around. So,
Lord God,
church started at 6 p.m. Ended in by like 2 a.m. So it's making sure like you ain't gonna be doing no type of ceremonies, lighting up stuff and welcoming demons. So they make sure you ain't do anything. And circle this back to dating. What it looked like for people who grew up in those churches, you dated somebody not in the church. You dated somebody from another church.
Yeah.
Nobody has any input about, and there was a lot of freedom. But that's what came up with the creative way of having sex. So like there was something, I don't know if you guys ever read the Book of Ruth, where Ruth laid at Ahab's foot while he was asleep. But men and women found a way in church how to do sleepovers without having sex. But that was, I'm telling you, people got creative.
You said sleepovers.
Sleepovers without having, sleepovers without having sex? Or
Yeah, because you could like sleep. Cause look, you're talking about like you can't even dance. You can't hold hands. Holding hands, Lord have mercy. You can't, even if you're married, you're not supposed to hold hands. Because I was wondering how people would have sex and have these kids. Because they were like the most emotionless people that you ever meet.
And that still includes like Pentecostal people, right?
Pentecostal, Seventh-day Adventist, Baptist. It was no affection whatsoever.
Public displays of affection is
we
bad.
couldn't do affection like, you know.
No, but at least you was with your wife. It was like a look that they just give each other like disdain. I'm like, y'all married and y'all look like this? Like, what kind of stuff is this? I don't want to get married like this. And so when you go to a church that was, I want to say this correctly, not a charismatic church, and those charismatic was the contemporary Christians. That was the one I told you about, that book. Remember that book they gave us in our church for dating, Kiss No More, whatever. It turned out that guy was a sex freak. SJ, you're supposed to burn that book in one of your ceremonies, SJ.
Okay, I'll burn it for you. I got you.
But like, was like Christian contemporary churches or like those new churches, they did go on dates. They did hold hands. They did pecks on the cheeks or pecks on the lips. Or you could sit on a girl lap. A girl could sit on your lap. You could sit on her lap. You could allow to touch and hug. So
they went to the extreme on it, huh?
Well, those churches were more like contemporary, and a lot of people gravitated toward those churches. And so that's when you saw a lot of churches change, where they went from fire and brimstone to more like contemporary and more understanding, and then whoever it is now.
Yeah. I mean, I was more non-denominational.
See, the non-denominational church is actually charismatic.
So for me, I mean, I like those churches. I like that's that's the ones I kind of grew up in. But like you said, like when you're in the South, you can meet people, and like Baptist, that's rough for me. I can't.
The Southern Baptists, woo,
that's too much. That's too much. Like I can't even do it. I can't even do it when I try. Like it's too much. They're very, very strict and very open about calling you out about it. And apparently, obviously when I was younger, like I just looked like a harlot in general. Like, just in general, like no matter what I did, I look like
it's like if you're an attractive woman, you're a harlot. If you're an attractive guy, you're a Jimbo. Well, I'm black. It's like the buck. Like just popping around.
That's how they speak to y'all though?
Yeah. It's the South. It's the South. It's the South.
It is me. Like I couldn't, my first son, his dad, they're Jamaican first 7-day Adventist. That lady hated the hell out of me. She hated me every day. She was mean as hell. She just didn't like me at all. And I don't think it was me personally, because I'm a nice person. I'm not an asshole. But she just like, you're not. They always make fun of me because I wasn't thick enough, because I'm small, smaller size lady. They're like, oh, you don't got no meat on you. You don't want to eat our food. I was like, I'm just a sensitive person. They didn't care. I was too light. It's just a lot of stress. Wow. I never felt very attractive in Florida at all. And the people think it's weird I say that. I've never felt attractive in my younger years at all. I always felt like I was not attractive. And even when I asked my kids, I say, oh, did you think I was like, what you think I was kind of hot back then? He's like, you're right, but because like it's just they want a curvy like a curvy woman. I'm not that.
It seems like they all trying to like tear y'all down a little bit, like.
Yeah, vanity is a sin. They don't want you to be in vain, SJ. So to give you compliments would lead into vanity. And I give like after I'll take this, Southern Baptist is worse than BACC.
Damn. Okay.
It's worse. It's worse than the Pentecostal church. It is worse. Going to a movie, having blockbusters, having a Netflix. What?
No, sir. That's
y'all
crazy.
Going to hell. What you mean you have 3 houses? For what? The sin?
Yeah, you ever been told you selfish because you got a 2-door car?
Okay. What you mean you
got what's wrong with having a sin house though? You gotta go somewhere, right, to get your needs met.
So do they tell y'all all this, like, to be like, hey man, you can't have all this like luxurious stuff, but you better put that bread in the offering plate? Was that pretty much what it was?
Yeah, they make jokes. It's like a joke or a sly comment that's nasty, and they walk by something, oh, yeah, you know, why you wearing your dress so tight? Why, you know, you're like, damn, I thought it was, you know,
Damn. Okay.
all kinds of stuff. They
Never
nasty.
uplifting.
But some
Damn.
people just like, some people fought it back. Like, at least I can fill it out.
Ooh.
But let me ask y'all. Let me go back to those like dating things that y'all was doing.
Mhm.
So the person that was like picking these like groups, somebody picked it out for you guys. Like, hey, Stan needs to go with so and so, and is that how that worked out?
For some, but not. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So
go ahead. I'll go next. Go ahead.
yeah, I'll break it down like so. And this is like for some, right? When you get up to like maybe like a leadership position, this is kind of where they're gonna really dictate what type of woman you should be with. Yes.
Okay.
Think
That was
about
your generation then. Mine was different.
Yeah, you know, yeah. So that's why I had to break down my version because think about Black Magic with the short Mexican woman.
You said Black Magic.
Mm-hmm. And you know how she wanted him so much, like, and they dated. I thought they was like I want to say the perfect couple, but the perfect imperfect couple, right? They belonged together. Okay, she couldn't resist Black magic stick or whatever, right? But they kicked him out or whatever the hell that happened or whatever. And so after that, they told her, hey, like, this is gonna be your new husband. We Frenchmen. Okay. And you know who I'm talking about too. So
I'm mad at you. Go ahead. We Frenchmen.
the guy with the worst receding hairline that you could ever imagine. So
but he was holding on.
So she wound up being married to a loser. Look, long story short, sophisticated jerk on their honeymoon. She tried to escape France. I mean France. She tried to escape his his father's house out in France. I'm like, where the hell are you gonna go? You already said your I do's. Like,
this is allegedly. Allegedly, we got to put disclaimer. Allegedly.
Even though allegedly it was a true story based off of how she told it, but I'm gonna still say allegedly for the sake of YouTube. So allegedly.
Yep.
But you know, right then I knew for a fact that I'm like, man, you don't like this dude. And one day when they was trying to get on my grill on my relationship, I just asked her a simple question: how do you still feel to this day that you're with we Frenchmen, and you know you're still you're no longer with your ex? I'm for sure you still miss him every now and then. I'm for sure that it comes to you once in a while and you be like, damn, I really miss Black Magic. How does that make you feel when you're stuck with someone that you truly don't care about? Now, at least she was honest and she agreed, and it still hurts. But hey,
Oakland, you really from Oakland? Them three, you really from Oakland? Just came in, just killed it.
Shout out to Black Magic.
Oh,
right.
But Stan, so you the same experience or
it
what?
was different. Long story short, we had a Chris Brown tether that was getting married, and a Chris Brown tether that was going to get married. I already broken up with my girlfriend, but people in church didn't know what happened. Didn't know. The minister, and this also when we had the radio too, right? When we had the radio station. So basically, in front of 5,000 people, in front of everybody in the congregation, our minister announced to the whole church that since the Chris Brown tether is getting married, that everyone needs to set up a date with Stanley Joseph, the next eligible bachelor. And I'm like, I did not come here to be an escort for Jesus on that scale.
Look, I'm gonna tell you what happened, Stan.
Stop lying, Stan.
To put that for 5,000 for everybody to hear that stuff, that was embarrassing. He said like, and then somebody pulled me after church and told me like, yo, you know, since he made that announcement, man, you're never gonna get married because that's what you're gonna be doing now. You know, to what's that word to say? Encourage these women to stay in church. And I was like, and I went to my non-Christian friends after that because I let them know what was happening because that was like not okay. And then luckily for me, I did have some roommates from that church. I checked in afterwards, like that night. But yo, that wasn't that wasn't cool because I didn't sign up for this. So like, you're not going trying to pimp me out and then don't pay me. Like, where my money at?
So
Yeah, you had
a piece of meat
like,
stand. You felt like a piece of meat out there.
From what I was told from other ministers, and I talked to other ministers. I used to work for a Christian radio station, and I let them know, and they're like, "Yeah, you know, attractive men in church do pull in a lot of females, so that helps with a lot of females staying in church and coming in. Probably don't want you to get married for a couple of years." And I'm like, "Wow!" So I didn't know that there was a business for singles or attractive singles to come in church to pull in members, and I'm like, that's why I do my own research, and I'm able to find stuff, and I was like, oh. So that's what's going on. The flirt to convert, like flirting with non-Christians to bring them into church, to act like you want to be like their girlfriend and boyfriend and just have them active and then slowly disappearing and bringing somebody else in. And I'm just like, whoa, I didn't know this was a whole...
You was the dude that was like going out, passing out brochures and stuff. You know, bringing in the clientele.
No, that's not what we do. No, that's not. A lot of churches don't do that. It's the whole thing of like, you just hang out and you invite people over. And then how I got involved with this church was like, they had a good singles ministry because the church I attended didn't have anything for singles. And they did have at that time a good one, but then they started chopping stuff off to regulate the singles because I didn't know. There's a lot of stuff that was going on that I didn't know. But you knew something was going on. It's kind of like HR, right? You used to have this big Christmas party. And next thing you know, they're like, we're going to have it at the staff office next year. And we're not having it at nighttime. We're going to have it before work. And we're going to have it at a brunch, right? So then nobody gets nobody's drunk. Nobody's going home. You know, it became like that. It was like, it just dropped from something that was spectacular to something that was suspect.
Damn. So Stan went to church pretty much for the singles events.
Hi.
Look, Lady E says, what do you expect when 63-year-old pastors marrying 18-year-olds?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They have prestige, they have members, and they could kick men out.
They make up their own rules. They could, you know, sleep with hoes and, you know, get on. Oh, sorry, the what we call it? It wasn't the holy ones. It was the hoest ones, right? They could sleep with them, get them pregnant, and they could write their own rules to rule them out, just so the congregation will not know the pastor's secrets. But then the pastor will like to know your secrets. They want to know everything about you, so they could use that vulnerability as a way to convert you into the way convert and mold. You know what I mean? When we're using the word conversion, okay, it's basically their way of molding you. Okay, so they want to convert you to the person that they want you to be, so you could be so brainwashed that you will continue to donate your tithes and offerings to them to help that pastor get his house or maintain his house, to help put his kids in school and give him the Bentley that he always wanted. It's unlimited funds, tax free, bro. Like, look, I had one sinful thought, you know, and Lord forgive me for that one, right? Because I'm like, look, out of the three traits of being a scammer, to be a scammer, like it's a pimp, teacher, and a preacher. Okay. And I was like, damn, right? If I was a straight scammer, I might just go with the preacher side, right? Because at least, right? I mean, you could quote unquote save souls as what they always say, but I'm like, man, the money's tax free and it's legal. The government's going to have your back because you're mind controlling. So, yeah, I think being a pastor would be the ultimate tool of scamming folks, but you know, it's just not in me, right? To even do that. So.
So you said you had that video
at the altar? Yeah, I got the video from
let's check that out.
Podcast.
Before we jump in that, so when did you and Stan start liking the hoes more than the?
Oh, I'm from Florida. I'm from Florida.
What?
You said it was a Florida thing?
I'm from Florida. Hey, look, everybody wears short shorts, bikinis. Y'all call them hoes out here in the rest of the world, but I'm just like, look, I'm
regular people.
Look, I mean, to be honest with you, like, look, I'm not gonna lie, I love the double life. Okay.
You said a double life.
Yeah, man.
You was like James Bond out here, huh?
I was a church boy during the day, singing the gospel and all that, righteousness. And then
look how he does like righteousness. Just throw it.
Right.
Yeah, he brushed that shit off quick.
Yeah. And then at night, right, like had one girl over here, the other girl right here, hand over the titties, other hand on the ass or whatever. Oh, and other parts as well too. So I was enjoying my life, right? As a gangster Christian, right? Living the pleasures, right, of the flesh and the holy life. So I had the best of both worlds. But of course, all good things, I'm talking about the world, comes to an end, right? When you fully commit and you get married or whatever. But that's another story for another time. But the main thing is that, like, when I was single, my best conversations was always the women outside the church, because and this prompted me to why I don't want church girls like that, because I could not really open up the barrier. I couldn't really get into like I could get into the emotions, but I couldn't really get in-depth conversations. And even still to this day, right? I don't know what it is, like church women, right? They still gravitate towards me. But then again, it's like they expect for me to have like, Jesus conversations 24/7, and I know you're getting your ass fucked somewhere.
But in 3, you're Tupac for Jesus. That's what they see.
What's that?
You're Tupac for Jesus.
So you feel like
that's what M3 is.
So he got that bad boy in him, and they want to convert him. Is that what it is? He's a challenge to him.
Wait a minute. What is the title of this live? I feel like we've gone.
Remember, we had like good girls. While the men like good girls or hoe-ish women, and the women like
So basically, Miss Polly, to make it simple, what do we prefer, right? As men, do we prefer the good girl, which is the church girl, the quote unquote Christian girl, and all this other good stuff? Or do we prefer like the girl, that's out in the streets, the one that's up front and just tell you like, hey, I'm DTF. Let's do it.
So Miss Polly, hold on, let me ask you a question, Miss Polly. This is good. You being a female, and I know guys typically they'll be like, I want the good, wholesome girl. Do you think they really capping? They want the hoes, right?
I think it's for what purpose? We all, got to get the right tool for the right job, right? So I think that's what it is. I think a lot of guys, for the most part, they don't want a wife. They're looking for the ass, even if it's consistent ass. It is what it is. And then when they're ready,
reliable booty.
And then when you're ready, then you look for a wife. And that's why I do believe when women are like, you know what, girls, he knows when he knows. Yeah, when he's ready to find a wife, he gonna look for a wife. And when he finds someone he wants to be with, he's like, yeah, she's good. Let's go with her. It could take 3 weeks. It could take 2 days. They know, because they're not intentional for the most part.
And see, Miss Pye, and that's why we should go back to the old school and follow the scriptures as it was intended, when men had multiple wives to like fuck around with,
No, I don't know. I'm not agreeing to that. I will not co-sign.
Miss Polly,
what's he got wrong with that, Miss Polly?
Because then now you're saying that you believe that men should have more than one wife. That's still a responsibility, regardless if it's 1 or 2. So, if, like I just said, you're not looking for a wife, you're looking for a good time for a short amount of time. You don't want it forever. You just want to touch it because it look good, but they may have no qualities that you deem important.
But hold on, let's rephrase that though. Most guys will enjoy having reliable cheeks forever if it's unlimited, especially if it's different girls every day of the week. Who would not want that?
I will say I think that when you're saying reliable as different days of the week, I mean, I'm not a guy, so I gotta think a little harder than everybody else. So, I just think that just sounds, most guys can't even handle, one. Let's be honest. In general, they, I love when not saying you guys, so don't to be personal. Some guys, okay, are in denial of what they're capable of doing. you say you want to have sex all the time. Some of these guys get into a routine. Well, not some of them get into a routine. Most guys have a routine. Okay. I'm a once or twice a week kind of guy, maybe a 4 time a week guy. But most guys after they work and they just regular life, they probably like a twice a week, maybe once. And how do you want to give out once a week dick when you got 4 bitches? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Okay,
you gotta give out dick more. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, you can't. You gotta get some pills. I need you to go get some Viagra because you gonna have to put down. Because women like these.
No, the only time we use Viagra.
So they out here fantasizing, Miss Polly.
Fantasizing that y'all can put in the work. Y'all can't.
Do push-ups, gentlemen. Do push-ups. That's all you need to do. Get the blood
flowing. After y'all get past 27, y'all knees start hurting, and y'all can't.
No, guys. Do not listen to Miss Polly. Look, let me tell you this, guys. Right, the solution to get your eggplant up there and stay up there, you got to get a different, finer girl every time, at least once a week if you can. Right? Some of y'all nervous to do that. But look, Miss Polly. Right? Let me tell you this though.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. Men do, you'll be surprised. Men do have enough stamina to keep going, especially for the ones who have post-nut clarity by themselves to themselves every now and then, right? Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is this, right? The only reason why if things doesn't really work out is because dudes are tired of, pretty much digging around in the same type of girl. And back in the biblical days, right? The Bible allowed dudes to have multiple resources. Well, okay, I be it, right? You gotta be that type of dude, right? No pun intended, B-Eazy, right? But you know what I mean? You gotta be that dude where it's like you got your charisma game up, you got your kingdomship going up or whatever. Like kings was balling back then.
What you just said. I want you to do what you just said. You said there's men who get multiple.
It's the equivalent of a high value man, a man that has his resources, a man that got his stuff together, right? Like the celebrities. The celebrities is the equivalent to the kings that's out there in the biblical times. So
I disagree, sir.
So when you have those resources, those byproducts, as opposed to women being the ultimate main goal in your lifetime, right? As modern church will try to make it intended to be, then the sex game will be fluid. You ain't even got to trip about.
But I think that's the issue we're having here. When you keep saying a wife is separate than someone you just fucked 10 times and you've done it. That is a difference. So when you're talking about back in the day when they had wives, which they have to fuck for years, you can't just throw her away once you don't, or your erection doesn't get where it needs to be. You can't throw that.
But it's like, you gotta.
But that's not what you just said back in the day. There is no cut ties. You either giving up the D or you suck. And that's what it is.
There is a cut ties. You know what I mean?
It sounds like somebody get your mouth game up because y'all can't keep up with the D game. You gotta get your mouth work together. That's what it sounds like.
The real reason why men can't really get it up, right? Is because, man, you women are unruly, and that's what it is. See, back then, they was more in their feminine state, so it kept it up. But if you guys are not in your feminine state, what is the purpose of a man to even have the driven and have the drive?
That sounds like BS.
Tries to emasculate us on a
that sounds like BS because y'all say y'all not in your feminine state, but y'all get it up every time you see something walk by. You guys, you can get it up by just thinking about anything.
It's not you.
So at this point, that's not relevant. That doesn't even matter. Y'all can get it up. That's it.
Miss Polly, what did you pick? Do you pick bad boys or good boys? Which one you like growing up?
That's a great question.
You got to bring it back to the question.
That's a great question, Stan.
You think about the jump. I don't know. I don't know. I like quiet gentlemen who don't make scenes. I'm not like.
You like the bad boys that don't make scenes. The one that
I like somebody cool, relax, chill, and I want to say they don't you don't mess with them, but they're quiet. You just let them be.
Great. It's not like one of those sociopaths.
I mean, I think so. I think I might like a little bit of sociopath. It might be true.
Probably just anti-social. He'll be sociopath.
I like him. Really. I mean, it's not a choice. It's just I like him a little mean.
Okay.
I wouldn't even say it's me. I like very honest people. So like I don't want you to tell me lies.
Because SJ never answered the question from Saturday. SJ, when you was growing up, what was it? Good or bad girls?
I like the good, man. I always prefer good, man.
So you was a bad boy.
Yeah, I was bad, but I definitely like good, man.
You see what I'm saying? They did track. I don't know what.
I know y'all girls stay word straight and answer why y'all love 3 or 4. Why don't you come up, Lola? I got the link pinned to the top, so come up here. You supposed to be up there a long time ago. I don't know why you ducking and dodging.
I like nice people. That's who I like. I like nice people. I like when they're nice to me. You don't gotta be nice to everybody else.
So you like a bad boy when you like it when a bad boy is nice to you. I got you.
Yeah, that's nice.
That was a question I was going to ask, right? Because does it even pay? Like, okay, is it even beneficial for a guy to be nice? You know what I mean? Like kind-hearted. Because what I'm seeing, and this may not be like maybe part of the black community, but I know like in other communities, it's like you got to have some type of tough type of exterior. It's like if you're too nice, too cautious, or too sweet.
I know what you're saying.
Even with the you know, the holy girls, right? They don't even like that.
So the nice rule of thumb is. Yeah. I'm sorry, SJ. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Stan. I'll go after you.
The rule of thumb is it's okay to be kind. It's not okay to be nice.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's not what kind of be nice.
It's okay to be kind. That's what, like, a lot of women like you to be kind. It shows some kind of leadership and that you care and compassionate. But it's not okay to be nice, like overly nice, because they look at that like some form of weakness. Like you try to lure women in, and they don't like it. But you can be kind.
But but maybe that's my problem, Stan. Like maybe I'm forming into like being like this nice person and I don't see it. Like maybe I'm looking at like, okay, me being kind, but maybe it's mistaken for me being nice. Because
M3, you're not nice.
I mean,
nice and kind of the same thing.
You're not nice in 3. You pull up real quick. You're not nice. You ain't having it.
Wow.
You're not having it. You're not that person. You're not having it. You will. I feel sorry. Like you Mr. T. I pity the fool. Dude, that's like you're not having it.
Oh wow.
But to answer the question, I don't think it's an issue about being nice, man. I think it's, you know, if you have boundaries, you can still be nice. You can't be a pushover. That's why I think the issue is. Yeah, where you let people start stepping over you and you don't have no boundaries.
That's nice. That's nice, boys. Like, go ahead and Miss Polly brings in, she'll bring in 5 of her girlfriends to dinner and he pays for it. That's nice.
Oh no,
that's a sucker, man. See, that ain't
you gotta
nice.
say no to that. That's a no.
He's not going because he's a nice guy. He's going to do it because he makes sure that everybody is fed and make sure everybody gets home okay. He's going to either go and drive them or get them all and left for Uber.
That's a trick.
Is he an advocate? Is he advocating for something?
See, and that's how women view nice guys. When you nice and like you nice like that.
You said that's the expectation then, huh?
No, she like Miss Polly said, like what is his angle? What's going on? Why is he doing it?
Shout out to L. Kroger. L. Cougar. He says that greetings. I think men prefer sex over relationships. The hoe is better, but not for reputation. Hey, I appreciate the kind of honesty. Yeah. But here's the thing, right? I want to, in the friendship aspect, okay? Because I know Lola, she wants me to answer this question, right? You know,
okay, what's that?
This topic, like why M3 like 304s, right? Even though like I just prefer talking to him over a church woman, but you know, since we're going there, again, I feel like I could connect with him more, and it's not like I'm equally yoked with a.
But you a hoe too?
I'm a former hoe. Okay,
that's why, because you connecting on your whole level. I get you.
Look. I'm a reborn again Christian, Miss Pie. So do not judge me. Okay.
I didn't. I'm sorry.
No, but No, I just have straightforward conversations. Like even in the ones they go to church, but they're balanced. Like you could talk about whatever and anything. You could talk about their boobs and want to lift them up or whatever, right? You could talk about like, hey, like it's like some type of philosophical type of stuff. But
you said what a hoe?
No,
3 or 4. Yes.
Oh, 3 or 4. You said you
like,
can get philosophical with a 304.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, wait.
Just
Wait,
because you're
wait
a
a
hoe,
minute.
like
I
doesn't
need to
mean
clear.
that
Wait,
you're
we
not
need we clear
intelligent.
something up before y'all continue. Is there a difference between a regular girl who just meets a person, date them, have sex with them, whatever, and a woman who just casually has sex with men all through the month? Like,
There's
make
no
sure
such
maybe
thing.
you have
But
another
Miss Polly,
partner like once or twice a month or something.
Miss Polly, there's no such thing as a regular girl because y'all
I'm
always
asking.
label yourself to be crazy. So there's no regular girls.
I'm just asking. So basically, you're just saying every woman who's normal is the 304.
No.
I'm just
Well,
trying to clarify.
No, okay. So the norm right now, which is unfortunate, is that every woman wants to use Jesus as a scapegoat and they want to play the role as a Christian because they want to bury their shameful past. They want to hide the lustful, burning desires of. I can't say that on YouTube, but
so why is it lustful when it's a woman, but when a man, all he do is think about that? It's
because us men, we don't care about the church rules and pauses. That's why we don't really go to church like that. But you guys do. You guys care about all that type of stuff. So that's why, like, we're sticking on that topic.
Wait a minute, sir. Whoa.
But Stan, I think I'm a nice guy. I think I'm good at heart.
No, you're still good at heart. You're kind, nice.
But going back to the question, because
yeah,
because she did. Miss Polly asked a good question. So what percentage would you say like females are in the church versus like ones that are not? Because you're saying that wholesome girls are 304s are better to like have a conversation with. They're funner. They're you kind of let your hair down versus a church girl. Like she's boring. So what percentage of girls are kind of in church, would you say? What is it, like 30% versus the 70 or?
Me?
No, anybody.
Oh,
you was asking,
I don't believe such foolishness, but I'm listening to y'all. I mean, I think at this point, people are just saying that people are 304s because they have, any sexual interaction at this point. Some people are like, oh, there's no virgins in the world. I mean, there are virgins out there. There are some women who hold out. I mean, maybe they're not, but like at this point, like you sleep with more than one person, you're not married to them. You're 304 automatic. That's how they make it sound. That's how you have 5 partners. You have 5 partners. You almost 30. You're like, oh, that's crazy.
Like, dang. Loopholes in church. If you had sex with a condom, you didn't have sex.
Yeah, I think as if it's an excessive amount. But yeah, like you said, at a certain age, you got to have some. You can't be delusional with it. People don't have partners. But what they were saying is pretty much like 304s is better to talk to and stuff. So that's what we trying to break down, man. Why they think that's true?
Right? I put it this way: what M3 is talking about, right? For example, if I met a woman in church, right, and we hit it off, there's a time period where she won't talk to me because there's a word we'll say, like a phrase like she's struggling, and that means that she's probably sexually attracted to me and therefore she don't want to talk to me, and then I will not talk to her till next year, right? Where opposed to if I talk to somebody who's not from church, you don't have that type of thing. Like, yeah, she finds you sexually attractive, but she's able to keep her composure is not a big deal. And then you can continue to talk, hang out, be friends, and you don't have all these barriers there. So in that aspect, I can see why it is easier to talk to someone who's not part of your church, because, that's why I mentioned, like, when people do enter, like, the mixed marriages, like, meaning, like, the mixed faith, a lot of times when you look at the system that one person is in is forcing other people to go out and to look at other people to date. So that's what I'm just saying. Like, it's just maybe maybe that's what M3 is saying. Maybe can't speak for M3, but my experience is like people is when there's something the church is legalistic, it does strain the relationships between the opposite sex. And then when you step out and you're meeting women that's not from church and it's a natural flowing relationship and friendship, you don't want to go back to church because church becomes something like, okay, I'm only here for the Bible and the teachings, I'm done. And basically for me, that's where I was at. Towards my last stance with church, I'm like, I ain't going to y'all groups. I'm not going to no little house church meeting. I come to church at 10:30. It's over with by 11:15. I'm out. I had to treat them like that. Like, yo, this is what I want, and I'm going out. I'm meeting other women. I'm having fun. I'm liking it. And sometimes they'll catch me on a date. They're like, "Who's that? None of your business." So
let me add on to this, Stan. Right. And thank you for clarifying on my behalf. But let me just add a little bit more context to it. Look. It's not like, man, like I just want like a whole, like just for sexual purposes, you know. I'm a deep type of person, right? Like I want something more beyond, right? Like I want somebody like, okay, where you could go on like hikes with, right? You could actually enjoy like your time, just have a nice, like decent, regular, normal conversation like normal people would have. Like it doesn't have to be restricted or deemed sinful. If you're just having like maybe like a flirty type of like lingo or you're talking about something. Look, unfortunately, certain women, right? And I'm not saying all church women, right? I'm just talking about the overly religious ones. They go over to the top where it's like you can't play certain music unless if it's gospel music. You can't curse in front of them. You can't say like damn bitch shit or whatever, right, to them, right? You can't playfully like smack them in their church booty ass or whatever, right? Because like that's deemed as something that's like non-spiritual. And they worry about like what the pastor and what other people will think. But in the meantime, again, the contradicting part is that at least every religious sneaky church girl have at least one person, right? At least one person that is like a Tyrone or whatever, that don't care about the gospel, that don't care about God, that don't care about any of that type of stuff. But because he's a secretive type of person and he stays to himself, he's not like a cold worker or anything. He's not a loudmouth. He's going to be the type of guy that she's going to choose because if anything, he won't know the whereabouts of her church. He probably won't even know her religion. You know what I mean? But once you kind of like get into like that type of connection with someone, then it's like, especially like a single mom that goes to the church, now there's like an expectation, right? You gotta get baptized, like you gotta get into these leadership classes, you gotta be the man that these single moms will want you to be so you could be thoroughly spiritually equipped to babysit and take care of the children. Okay. And you know, as much as like, you know, like maybe I want to like, you know, clap some like, like single mama cheeks or whatever, but I know it's not good for my health. I know it's not healthy. I know Stan will not approve of it. You know,
I didn't approve of you trying to slap them on the booty, but I'll let you go ahead and continue.
I'm just saying,
sir, you can't do
see,
that.
he won't even approve like the thought of it, right? So anything that
because it come there for a safe place. Church, I know church is not a safe place. That's been a safe place for me, but I get it, right? Mm-hmm. But that was the whole thing, right? It's the flesh, and you have to fight that because we come from the world. And I see your point of view because you come from the world, and church got to be a safe place. But we're also human beings, and we're sexual. Where church doesn't allow you to express it, except suppress it, and that becomes the problem of trying to be good, and you learn you can't be good for everybody. So you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to go ahead and pull on this condom, have some consensual sex. That's really not sex because it got condom on it, and so.
I mean, whether you dry hump someone, you peg them in the anal. Like it's still sex.
Wait, why you didn't say peg? That was extreme.
Well,
No, I'm saying like remember I said the Catholic girls and the Mormons. We talked about that earlier. Like,
okay. Y'all lost me with that one, and I was about to hit that red button on y'all.
No, but literally, that's a thing for each church. Each church has a culture, and within those cultures, they have a sexual culture that's there. Although churches don't want to talk about it, but unless you grew up in church, because while everybody's doing it without church, those of us within church, we get exposed to things and loopholes. So people find loopholes to do things until you become an adult where you don't have to go to church anymore. Then, like I said, I was like Little Mermaid. I want to be where the sinners are. I want to know why they laughing and dancing.
Okay, that was it.
But
let me M3. I want to get back to you because you said something. So is it that the church girls are just too, would you say, like uptight, and they're just so concerned with like?
Here's the thing, right? For
putting on that facade for everybody.
Church boys, church girls, gonna put them both in the same category, right? Because if you're ministers or you grew up in church and people just watching you and looking out for you and just making sure there's an eye out, like people are looking at you and constantly reporting back. So it's a lot of stress because you can't be yourself, right? Yes, Lola, Jesus did hang out with sinners, but people like
he knew who were the front crowd.
Yeah, he hung out the front crowd, but it's that thing of like, man, you can't really grow up and make mistakes because people expect you to be righteous and holy 24/7, and it becomes frustrating. And I see like why like also in Christianity, a lot of Christians do divorce because there's a scripture that says the marriage bed is non-defiled. So like y'all married, y'all can do some stuff when you're married that I don't need to know, but y'all married, y'all got it. But because people are still stuck and think that other people gonna report back and talk about it, that sex is a topic that's still shunned.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's boring as hell. Then shit, I get y'all.
I'm gonna tell you something like what my dad taught me about these type of women, right? The ones that's so uptight. They put you in certain categories where they feel like, okay, well, either you're this guy that you have so much potential, you could be husband material, or you could be the other guy that is like, I guess alpha material, like just a guy that, that you could just give him a bunch of one-nighters or whatever, a hit it, quit it, whatever type of thing is. But when they kind of see you as like, well, okay, this dude, he has an edge to him, but under his resume, he's been married for 11 plus such and such years or whatever. Oh, he's definitely husband material. And I need to convert him to be the husband that I need him to be for my kids, for them and for the family or whatever. So you're gonna get those type of conversations where I'm like, come on, man, like I see you like look like you're loosening up like with this person and she's a straight sinner, you know what I mean? But for me, it's like, come on, you can't look at me the same way. Just look at me like a sinner too, and just be relaxed. I'm worse than that. You wanted the
sinner package, huh? You was like, look,
right, like
I'm a dirtbag. Shit, why you treat me?
right. Like you got me on the beta male, like church husband package, and I'm like, no, man, that's the wrong package you're giving me.
Oh, okay, so it makes sense now. That's where you're talking about like coming off like nice and stuff. You gave off like boyfriend vibes versus.
I think I gave him husband vibes or something, right? Because I got my track record, but still, like, I mean, come on, man, like I'm an asshole, but you still, it's like no matter what I do, right? Especially like to some of these certain groups of women or whatever, it's like they know I'm an asshole, but it's like it drives them to still try to change me. Like the most aggravating is when they tell me like, I'll never give up on you. And I'm like,
I told you, you Tupac for Jesus.
Oh my God.
I told you, Tupac for Jesus.
Who says these things?
save me, Black
He's
Jesus.
Tupac for Jesus.
Yeah, I get it now. So yeah, it sounded like it was just environment though. Like Stan said, I think everybody was
all
putting
the
on that front.
environment, bro. In a lot of these churches, YouTube. I mean, you did the research, you seen it. It's across the board with a lot of these churches that.
But cause Stan, you kind of, like I go to church, but I go in, man. I hear the word and I get the hell up out of there, man. So you think it's like married. Because people got a dependency somewhat, like
no, you're married. That's the thing. You're married, right?
No, but even then, man, I had no. I was like, let me go, and man, I was looking for a church that was like damn near 30 minutes. I'm like, man, give me the word. One song, that's it. You got one plate passing, and I'm out of there.
Catholic church for me, the Catholic church, them 30-minute sermon be hitting with that good wine. Ooh.
But yeah, I never wanted too many people in my business because, like I said, there is a lot of gossip. And I remember I went to one church. Yeah, one lady was like, "I didn't see you here last week," and I was like, "Yeah, because I didn't show up. I was hungover." So it's I would just shut it off. Any like interactions and stuff.
You gotta grab them. So they notice you. They're like, "Okay, he's been coming in."
Yeah, no, they was like looking around, but I like shut it down quick because I was like, "Yeah, nah, I don't know what that means. Yeah, you're spotting me. I ain't gonna be here every weekend. It's football season coming up." So this is occasional for me, goddamn it.
Yeah. Now, Sister I.M. says, oh, sorry, excuse me. She says it's true, but people have to decide if they want to continue to be miserable and vent online or take control of their lives. As Stanley Joseph, right?
No, it's because I answered a question she put on, like, why would you, something about dating outside of church. And I put in a lot of time, ministers don't want you to date within church, don't date outside of church, because it's something to date within the same congregation that it becomes like a selling point for church. You guys got to see, like, church is a business. If you have attractive women and attractive men there, you could pull in a lot of singles in. And if they get married, you definitely going to get a lot of singles, because now this church is known to get people to get married. So now a lot of people going to come to church to find a spouse and get a house. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's like a big deal for. And then after that, once you have a family, you're loyal to the church because that's the church you got married in, and you knew everybody there. Then your kids are growing up together. So it's a system.
Oh, yeah. And they definitely want you to make sure you have some children too, because they feel like children is the savior of a marriage. You know what I mean? So just saying, right?
But let me ask y'all. So when y'all was like talking to the females and stuff, y'all didn't feel like. Because I would have just been honest. I'd be like, look, I'm a freak. You getting with me, goddammit.
No,
you know what's going down.
I was already butt broken, mentally and spiritually programmed. Like, if I was like activating my true nature, which I'm for sure that would have gotten wet. But then at the same time, for the sake of their peers, it would just told the congregation. And then I would have all these brothers harassing me, talking to me about like this. I mean, I had people harass me because I was actually building like how a man's supposed to be with a woman. And it was like maybe like 15 minutes and it was too long for him. So anytime when you try to if you talk to a woman longer than that, then they look at you like you're a struggling, far away type of Christian. I got one story, right? And this is going to be intriguing. One time we had a really good event. And man, I bonded with the shit out of this Christian, right? So we was in San Francisco, and man, God bless her soul, man, because she was to me, like, look, I mean, yeah, she was a former like drug addict. But she was still beautiful on the inside out, right? And we were just bonding. We were just connecting. She kept it real. She was like one of the only sisters that I know that was like really authentic. And she was rapping and I was rapping. I was like in my early 20s. So we was just young. We was vibing. And we was like in a hotel because that's where kind of like the event took place. But Look, I was supposed to room with a bunch of like musty, dirty, crusty ass brothers, right? Stan knows. Well, that was before Stan came, but I was about to room in with like the Chris Tucker looking guy, right? You know, big lip, bubblegum shrimp looking guy. But anyways, you know what I mean. So we was vibing, and honestly, bro, like we spent like 5 hours like talking. You know what I mean? Maybe I kind of laid like the Mac down or whatever on her, but I mean, she didn't go to bed that night, and I didn't go to bed that night. So we stood up from like maybe like from 6 at night to like 2 or 3 in the morning. That's how bad we was connected. To the point where it's like, man, I had zero sleep anyway. And matter of fact, I didn't want to like, you know, kind of sleep with the guys anyways, though, right? I mean, no homo, but still, you know.
Which I had like bunk beds and shit.
Yeah, it was like you know, like 2 beds or whatever. It wasn't no bunk beds, but you know what I mean. Like,
sleep on the floor.
Well, one of them would have been sleeping on the floor.
So this is like a church sleeping?
Yeah, it was like
it was like a convention.
It was a convention, but we was renting out like hotels. So like, you know, we had a bunk in with like, you know, somebody shared like the room or whatever. And I was about to share a room with a fuck nigga. So I kind of dodged a bullet on that part. But no, it was a cool vibe. And then I saw her again at the basketball game, and yeah, man, we was vibing again, right? You know, just taking pictures, just like conversing. And whatever happened afterwards, man, like these the mean girls, man, got to her and got her out of the church.
Yeah, that's the messed up part about it. This when I mentioned like this church as Mean Girls and Game of Thrones, it's like certain people can be screened out and other people could be screened in, and depends on the family. Like if you're brought in by a family member, what I mean by family is like somebody in the church got strong leadership, they brought somebody in, then that person have to get baptized right away. If we brought in a woman in, other women gonna look at that and like, no, we don't want her to get baptized here because she might take all the guys. And it's weird that these things happen, but yo, like when you see it, you gotta see it to believe it. But then, like I mentioned too, I am single. Like a lot of times people do have to vent because if you keep it on the inside, you're gonna believe in the gaslight, like this only is happening to you, but it's happening across America where people are having like these experiences. But because you're single, because here's something, ministry that matters the most are the kids ministry, and you'll hear a lot of stuff that happens to kids in churches, and the married ministry, and you hear a lot of stuff about marriages and how marriages broke up and all these swingers in churches. But the singles, they keep it quiet. And you know why? Singles are free labor. But the singles got the most money, singles got the most time, and singles help churches move.
Yeah. Okay. Shit.
Yeah,
well, I'm keeping tally, man, and so far the 304s is winning.
Yeah. Look. I got a video that I want to play you guys.
Yeah, put this on.
But like I said, we're gonna pause every now and then because we gotta adapt to the rules of fair use. So shout out to wherever podcast. Andrew Wilson versus, let's see, Christian X dancer. Is church a good place to meet women? Spoiler, hell, who the fucking know?
Like organically, people that you want to date. Church. That's where you go to meet a good. So honestly, you go to the bar, you go to a strip club. Like that's not where you're going to bring someone home to meet mom and dad. You go to church.
No.
Hey, but that's who I want to bring to my bedroom.
It's a bad place to find a woman now. Is that church? Terrible place. Well, because what happens is there's what's called the Great Hoe Reformation.
Oh.
So here's how this works.
I'm not gonna like this. I'll tell you right now.
What happens is there's a lot of women out there who are getting into their 30s and their mid 30s, and they've realized that they have ridden what we like to refer to as the carousel. And they
real quick question. The woman in the pink, did she used to be like a 304?
I'm not sure. I ain't see this one. yet.
Okay.
But they got costumes on in there? Because am I mistaken? Like there was one dressed like an elf or some shit.
What you talking about in this particular video?
Yeah. There was a couple.
Well, we'll play. I'll see.
They did it for a long time. It's true. They couldn't find a guy, and so in their 30s,
yeah, her and the other one, they got on like the.
Is that really a woman though?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
she had on like elf ears and shit.
Okay.
He's now they're kind of screwed, and so what they do is they reform and find Jesus.
Hit pause. Oh, did you catch that? No, did you catch that like last clip?
You talking about when they showed?
Yeah, they showed her with the elf ears on.
Yeah, and the
okay. Concept. Well, shit, they'll show her again. But yeah, I was like, damn, that threw me off a little bit. I'm like, man, am I?
Church, and then when they're at the church, they try to meet guys.
It's a little Barkus,
and that's really a big problem. And it's going on all over the place now.
But is it a problem if they really find Jesus?
That's the problem. What you just said
is if they really find Jesus.
No. So no, you're useless or not useless. You're
Don't say I'm gonna walk out.
You're a useful pawn because of what you just said, right? Is that a problem? Yeah, it's a problem because what they'll do is they'll cover themselves behind "Don't judge me."
Oh,
don't judge me.
That's different. Yeah.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. But it's usually the women who are inside of these churches and women who are the ones pushing the "don't judge them."
I'm gonna pause real quick.
Is that fact, y'all? Are they typically pushing the no judging in the church?
Well, you can't really judge because we're all sinners. Nobody's perfect, and that's the thing about becoming a Christian is like. You have sin. Hopefully you have compassion. Now, however, there's some limitations like, hey, if you convicted felon that, X some people out this universe, delete some people, I really shouldn't be dating you for my own safety. So there's like, you know what I'm saying? You're my sister in Christ, but I can't.
Real question was, do women? Because he said women judge more in the church. Is that true based on what y'all seen?
Yes,
they do judge more in their men based off his character, his finances, and looks.
In the church,
in church.
Yeah, and the beta man, the brothers, they advocate for that, and they'll try to encourage us to step our game up because we need to be our best for these women. I'm trying not to say the UGLY word, Stan, but it's tempting. But yeah,
it's okay
because they're not deserving.
So they don't be pushing character in the church when y'all with
that? What are those?
Okay. My bad.
Can we get how much they sell?
The whole character is solid, right?
How much they sell at the Dollar Tree, SJ? What can I get some of those?
So they push the "don't judge me," but they're the most judgmental.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
See, the thing is that like when you go to church, it's like because, like Stan says, because you are a sinner yourself, it's like you have to you're accepting a woman, not based off her past, not even based off her looks. You're accepting her based currently of her relationship with God. So the biggest advocate is mostly saying, look, doesn't matter if this woman is heavily obese and she looked like a wildebeest. You have to be your best to love this person no matter what. Because you know why? That person is not only your sister in Christ, but she has God in her. More God than you will ever have as a man. So out of all those fine women that you see in the world that are just throwing themselves at you, you need to reject those women in the world and be with somebody that's like-minded and is holy, okay? So you got to stick with like your own kind. That's their encouragement.
Oh, okay. So but y'all getting judged though at the same time though.
Oh yeah. We're like
you guys said,
we're like brothers. We're all kinds of shit. We're bums. Yeah, they have.
Y'all was buying this shit.
Huh?
I said y'all was like accepting this nonsense.
I'll say
Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all was troopers.
I saw through it, and at one point, I seen somebody allegedly. I'm gonna put the word allegedly. Brought his girlfriend in, got her baptized, and married her. So he was dating somebody that wasn't in church. Got her baptized and got her married. And
There's
they
a few
married.
exceptions when you're like.
So he just kept her like a little distance or something from everybody else. He kept that segregated a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, but they were boyfriend and girlfriend before.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that's like.
So he ain't just put y'all in the game then. Yeah.
But that's the loophole. I think that's the loophole for anybody dating in church. You find somebody that you really like. I don't know how many times somebody from your job because you really spend time with them all the time, or someone that you meet at the gym, or somebody
dating with intent. Dating with a purpose.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you don't go to your church, not to your home church, but you go to the sister church.
Yeah.
Because the woman at your church, you remember, like the Chris Brown Tether got married, and I was next in line. So, you know.
It was about to be a rap for you, Stan. But
yeah, I'm the Usher Tether. I was like Chris Brown Tether got married, now it's time for Usher. I'm the Usher. I'm the Usher Tether.
So they was about to auction you off, boy. You was the prime candidate, man. They still upset that you probably left. They're like, we gotta get him back. He got to marry one of y'all.
No.
Hey, I know the people in the church rejoicing that I'm gone. I was a firecracker.
Y'all gotta go back, man. Well, hey, y'all hit the comments. Tell them to go back. We gotta hear these stories. Y'all gotta go back.
Only way for me to go back if you, Manic, and D come with me.
Oh hell no.
No, I need the military to be there because I need somebody to hold me back. I don't want Steven to come out.
No, we need Steve back. We need Steve in them. Yeah, let's see what else they talk about in this video.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's not looking good in churches at the moment. So just saying, that's something which has been going on that was brought to my attention. So I started looking into it, and yeah, it's going on all over the place.
So it's like a pandemic of women like faking coming to Jesus and just going to church to find a good.
I'm not even sure that they're faking. Right? Maybe they're coming for all the right reasons, but it really doesn't change the fact that I don't think that if a man in his 20s and 30s doesn't want to marry a former prostitute because she converted to Christianity, he probably doesn't need to.
Well, hang on. I want Lindsay to speak on this.
I don't know.
Because
I'm gonna wait till there's a question asked.
No, Lindsay's a former stripper.
Oh, did not know.
Oh, juicy. Oh, it just got so juicy.
Oh.
Yeah, no wonder she was like defensive.
Yeah. Former stripper. What up, Watts? Salutes to you, my brother. Salutes.
What's good, Watts?
Now, this story is going to get real interesting. Listen to the former stripper story. But remember, don't judge her because she used to strip. Okay? Now she's stripping for the collection plate. Let's see.
I'm judging.
I know this.
Yeah.
You wasted all the good time on like these three that left.
Over here.
Lindsay has juice. Squeeze it.
Clearing the
Squeeze that juice.
I'm gonna dominate this girl next.
Go to her
got you
questions.
in his sights.
Shoot.
Well, I was just going to
I'm an
say,
open book.
I get it. I understand. I'm not saying that they're coming to the church for the wrong reason.
Don't judge me. I'm just kidding.
Right. Well, I mean, that's an actual problem. Is we should use righteous judgment for one, and no, we shouldn't tell women who are reforming or men for that matter that they shouldn't go to the church in order to do that. They should. But that doesn't mean that their past gets erased.
Right.
It's this born again, I'm a born again virgin, I'm pure now, all that shit, trying to put that on men, like they almost seem like they're pushing it as an ought, like you ought to marry them because now they're pure again. Who are you to judge them type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's perfectly fine for Christians to say, I have the preference not to marry a prostitute.
And that will get you stoned, verbally stoned in the church. That might get you kicked out just by saying something blasphemous like that. You're supposed to respect the women. You're supposed to accept them for who they are. You better not ever talk some blasphemous stuff like that. Don't judge them about their past. They're born again Christians.
But you know the scary part about that though, which I remember I was seeing it a lot, is how yes, we protect the sisters. There's nothing wrong with that. But the irony behind that is that they went ahead and would expose men's sin in front of members to put them in their place. That's the part that was like shameful, is that you went ahead and you protect one gender, but the other gender you have no problem shaming them and calling it righteous.
Well, we're not a protected group anyways. And then partially it's still like kind of our fault because you have men who is like the type that believe women are all women. So they're kind of like feminists like themselves. Like you can't build a church and expect like, you know, like families to bond and be righteous together. And then you have that feminist ideology where the woman is right. She's better than a man. And, you know, like you're not playing equal playing fields, you know?
Yeah.
But,
I will say this too, like a lot of times they'll also shame the husbands, which I'm like, are you kidding me? This husband in front of their families, this husband has to go back to his wife and his children, and you doing this? Like, you know, at this time, this was before C-19 shut down. I had to sit somewhere else because I'm like, yo, somebody come back in here and start, you know what I'm saying? Start regulating.
Yeah.
I need to be out of sight because because that's crazy that you can be disrespectful to somebody who's a father and a husband in front of their family. That's crazy.
So they were doing that to dudes, like kind of what they call it, escalating them in front of his own family and stuff.
Yeah, and how they do it too, right? It was like, okay, here's one thing I want to say earlier before they follow, not the Bible, the book they follow is the 48 Laws of Power. That's what they follow, the 48 Laws of Power. One way to diffuse is to touch you and then somehow come alongside you, and then they'll come in like in a roundabout way. And then, like, you know, your father is not perfect. Your father had a lot of sin, and he's going to do this for your mother and And if anything happened, make sure you go ahead and you report to me. So then I'm like, whoa, like, how you circumvent like this something between the parents? The kids don't need to be involved in that, number one. And number two, what are they coming to you for? Like, you don't have control over that marriage. That's not okay.
You said the 48 Laws of Power? They was on some prison shit in there, huh?
Yeah, man. They was doing the 48 Laws of Power.
But Stan's accurate on that one because it's basically like you playing like the psyches of a person's mind. You have to build their trust. You have to build a level of comfortability, but then you also have to create like a fear in order for that to build like a safe haven. In order for them to think that being around with you and that presence is a safe haven in the church. And if they leave that church, then it's like that safe haven is going to be broken. They're going to be out in the wilderness. They're going to be far worse than ever before. All those demons going to come right back to them and then just galvanize them. You know what I mean? Pulverize it, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's why I said dependency earlier. It's like they wanted you to be dependent on them. So, you know, even with the man and the woman, you know, that's supposed to be the hierarchy and stuff. It's almost like they putting one more layer on top of that. Like, hey, if anything goes wrong, you know, you report up to me and stuff. So it's just, that's
so just think about like this welfare and daddy government. It's kind of like the same equivalent.
Yeah, because now you got the kids reporting on the father, like, hey, dad is late, blah, blah, and this. And that's the sad part about it, because then this man, it don't feel like a man anymore, right? Because now the church say he's not a man, backing up the wife, the kids. Yo, like, this is disastrous because, man, like, as mental health wise, right? What's that going to do to that husband And I'm seeing you doing this, right? And I'm like, for me, I'm like, I want no part of this. And
So you
also,
think like they were almost intentionally like trying to get him to like leave the church, or because most guys ain't gonna tolerate that shit. Be like, you know what, I'm out of here. And so that would just leave the women and the kids pretty much.
Yeah, if you're trying to leave, the wife is not going to leave and the kid's not going to leave because remember they said like, hey, your father's full of sin, but we're going to help him out. And then including them on the plan. And by doing that, you did this whole family a body. And no matter what he feels about the church now, he may feel like he wants to leave, but can he really leave?
Stan, think about the scripture where they'll quote this to the women and they'll teach them that like when a man leaves, now it's the woman's responsibility to show him back to the way of Jesus. I can't remember like what that scripture says in particular, but it's like a noble wife or something like that. It's one of those type of wives that's like, hey, like, okay, my husband fell away from the church because I know he's a sinner and I know he's far from God, but
kind of like guide him back, bring him. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. It's the whole thing. Like if you are married and say like your wife is a sinner, right? If she don't want to leave you, you don't leave. And the vice versa. So if she's married, husband's not saved, but she does not leave the marriage because the household will still be blessed. And then you're supposed to live your life right, and accordingly, then later on, this person could be saved as well.
But see, this in that case, you find another church. You be like, hey, look, I ain't quit church. I just went to one that's functional. You come over here. She say no at that point, then.
At that point, that's when it becomes a divorce.
Yeah. But at that point, you see where her mindset at. You like, hey, okay, so if I'm still going over here and I'm getting a word, you just attach to like the people element versus the actual church at that point. Yeah.
But that's why a lot of people wants to get married in church because it's kind of like you can control the man.
I see what you're saying. It makes sense now. Okay, shit.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and we're gonna jump into her story.
I think that's fine.
Yeah. Well, no, I totally agree. I think men have every right to say, I understand that that's your past, but I'm not okay with it.
Yeah.
So I can't be okay with it. He shouldn't marry a woman and then obviously not be okay with it because he would use that against her the rest of her life. So.
Well, I'm not even sure that that's the thing, right? Is that
we'll get to her story.
You should get married even if you're reformed. I think that's fine. All that's fine. I'm just saying that Christian men should still have the preference to be like, yeah, I'm not going to marry a chick who is a product. You know what I mean? I think that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and good. I think it's good that they're a little reserved about it. So,
wait, can you put a pause on this?
We're still on.
Mm-hmm. All right, so on this one, he's going to get some fight back because there's actually a book in the Bible that teaches against this. The book in the Bible is the book of Hosea. Hosa. I don't pronounce it right. Hosea.
Hosea.
Hosea. Yeah. And what that book is about is like God commanded this priest to marry a prostitute. And the prostitute will always leave home and he'll always bring her back. And even she got pregnant by one of her Johns and he took the child in as his own and married her and kept her. And what that showed was that that's how God loved us. He always brought us back. Even though we turned our backs and did all this stuff, he brought us back. So a lot of times what he's saying is totally against what the Bible is teaching. And if you're single and you come with this mindset to any church, you're going to be talked to about with that book of the Bible.
So you said they had that passage on standby, huh?
Oh, that's just a whole book. You know, everybody's talking about Ruth. A lot of people, y'all not the book of Ruth. We're the book of Hosea. We're not the book of Ruth. So there's no Boaz for you. Maybe that priest. We're all, including the men, we're in the book of Hosea. We're not the book of Ruth. Because Ruth was going to follow God no matter what, because she already been married. She wasn't thinking about getting no husband. This is a little bit different. All of us is full of sin. We're all goofy. we're in the book Hosea, so we just need to go over there.
Okay.
That's a whole. So I think the singles ministry got to get over there, and I'm not going back to preaching. Nobody invite me to no church.
Yeah, that's one part that I'll just have to, like, on Judgment Day, I'm gonna have to get striked with that because I ain't about to be with no prostitute. Damn that.
Like you gonna
I'm
marry
just gonna be wrong in that case.
But that's the whole thing. Like, she left and she come back, but to show the children of Israel, like, that's how much God loved them because of how much sin they've done, and He always welcomed them back and protect them. But that was the whole thing of that book and its own teachings. So you might look in the future, right? And this is why I always, I mentioned in the group, like, if you have nephews, sons, and cousins, to sit down with them because, like, people in church is not even spiritual anymore. They got psychology degrees. They figuring out, when I say, like, the church is not even doing the book of the Bible, they doing 48 laws of powers. We're behind. If you think the church is all this stuff, remember, like, we had the conversation about nonprofit. Nonprofit is a business. We ain't going around feeding people soup. This is money. It's a business, and church is a business. And so they're reading on how to keep people in church for decades, and they're following trends.
You know, your story is similar to like Kel Mitchell's marriage, because he pretty much married a prostitute in some cases, even though she didn't title herself as to be one. But
And I
she
bet
kind
she
of did.
got. No, I'm sorry.
No, but she did the things that what happened, like, in the stories of the Bible, going out there sleeping with other guys, getting pregnant by dudes, and then having babies by other men. It's ridiculous. But
you have to learn to forgive and then welcome her back and be loving and caring. Again, it's that book of Hosea, because when you read Proverbs will tell you, like, young man, do not marry a prostitute, and this is why. It's better to die. I mean, Proverbs give us a whole thing of instructions on what to do and what not to do, right?
Yeah.
But again, but if you're at another level, right, that book of Hosea, like you just started, like Kenan and Kel, like, that's something that is preached now because it's contemporary and is reflective of the times.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and read it because typically there's like a deeper message within that. So I think a lot of times, people don't read the beginning and the ending of that, and they just go like, "Hey, you need to do this." So I definitely think there's something wrong with that.
Yeah, they just read whatever it's like, okay, it's like you creating long form content, but people only react to like short form clips, and then they judge it based off of that, as opposed to watching the entirety of it. Sister Iam says, isn't there something? Well, matter of fact, everybody probably already read that, so I'll just answer that to you. From what I heard, I know, like, okay, your thoughts could be your sins, because wherever you think that counts as a sin, but it is really more detrimental once you act upon it. I'm like, you can't really control your thoughts 24/7. Like, every day, I'm always going to probably think about something that I shouldn't really be thinking about. Whether if I'm at my high point or at my low point. So, but as far as like, if you want to be non-monogamous, you might as well. Yeah, that's why some men or whatever, right, will have a rotation of women. But it won't be like a full extent where you're polyamorous or polygamous or whatever, however you want to call it.
Can I answer that one too? If you don't mind? Be real quick. I'm going to tell you this, right? I'm going to be thinking about some sex. I ain't apologizing to nobody. No deity. You going to bring me in, go bring the good book and all you want. I'm thinking about some sex. That is it. God made me. I'm a man. I got testosterone. And I always think about getting it in. I will never apologize for that, ever. Them days are over with. But keep it on.
And that's why it's never good to really kind of like suppress like who you really are by nature. If you're that type of person, yeah, I mean, kind of like be respectful about it, but at the same time, it's like that's part of it. That's who you are. But because we're so afraid, and I'm not just saying about church in particular, we're just afraid of judgment by all people, period. Because we know, especially people in America, they're gonna judge us for any little thing that we do.
And sex is everywhere. It's like it's in front of us. TV,
but they make it taboo.
Videos, advertisement, magazine. It's right in front of us all the time. You just see sex. Yeah. The animals are getting it on. Birds.
Oh, they go Bolo. I wish Bolo break down that the one you was talking about.
The book of Hosea.
Yeah. There's got to be a message in that.
Yeah, when you read it, go ahead and read. I say read it in the New Testament. Don't do the King James, all that Shakespeare stuff. And then you look at Boaz. Boaz is marketable, right? Because Boaz gives women hope to come to church and find their Boaz. There's a whole like church ministry movement with the Book of Ruth. The Book of Ruth, huge. Hosea, not so much, right? Hosea comes in when the man is like this guy and says, I won't date that type of woman. Then they'll go ahead and we'll talk to you about that. Because you might have some reservations of like, yo, I found this out about this person. This might be a trigger for me, or I'm not okay with this. This might come up with it like later. Did this person actually get the help? And already, because you have questions, it might be deemed as judgmental. And so you're now going to have a Bible study based on this book of the Bible. But that book of the Bible is not going to sell out churches. That book of the Bible is not going to have a conference and people flying in and like filling up hotels. That book of the Bible is just not I forgot what they used to teach us in marketing. It's not sexy.
Yeah, I got you.
Book of Ruth is sexy. Proverbs, sexy. Psalms, sexy. Book of Hosea, Revelations, no. Timothy,
you want to read Hosea.
Like, yeah, I got. I'm gonna have to check into that now because I read one little part and they said I think they were operating out of order. That's why he did that command. But typically, if it's like if you got yourself together, you're supposed to be looking for somebody that's like equally yoked, and that's kind of like you said in Proverbs, that how it was outlined. So yeah, it's a good section. I'm gonna have to dig in more, but yeah, I'm gonna need somebody to break that down for me. It's interesting. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, you good. I'm gonna finish this video.
All right.
Lindsey Graham. So you said in your pre-show notes here you had a colorful past. You were raised quite.
Gosh, what is going on?
It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Raised Christian, excuse me. You fell off the deep end in your 20s. You were a stripper. You mentioned that. Meth addict.
I was a meth addict. Yeah.
Then you were forced into an shmushmortion. With an abuse by an
What the hell is a shmushmortion?
What do you mean forced?
Gosh, it's always such a weird word to try to use without telling the full story, right? Manipulated would be a better word.
Talk about deletion, baby deletion.
When I got pregnant, he was very abusive, so emotionally, physically, verbally. And I'm not a wuss. I'm not like he emotionally abused me. He was literally emotionally abusing me, gaslighting. And first he called me a liar and tried to just kind of cut me off. And then when I proved that I was pregnant, he used different manipulation tactics to try to get me to have an abortion. One being, if you have...
Nowadays, it's not even no point in even trying to censor something because the guest is not going to censor it for you.
The baby, I'm going to take the baby, make sure that because you're an ex-stripper and an ex-drug addict, I'll make sure the courts know this. You'll never see your baby again. That was his way of, trying to get me to have an abortion so that, of course, he didn't want to be responsible. He was a good Christian man in the church.
And keep in mind, right, she's talking about the pastor if you guys don't understand who she's talking about. She had sex with the pastor. Pastor blessed her with a holy baby, but he wanted to get rid of it because, the demon is carrying it.
Didn't want his reputation ruined. That didn't work because I was struggling, of course.
Wait, what does that mean? He was a good Christian man in the church.
Man.
And you were a drug addict?
No, not at this time.
Oh.
Damn, she said not this
years
time.
prior.
This is years prior.
Okay, hold on. So I was a dancer and a drug addict at the same time.
Okay.
Left those lifestyles and began dating him immediately. Oh, I was that girl. Oh, no, it wasn't. That wasn't a thing. This was 20 years ago.
Yeah, really.
So
it sounds a lot like that girl.
So it does sound like that girl. Where's the like?
Sounds a lot like the girl I just explained. Yeah.
Gotcha, bitch.
Okay, so.
Okay, but actually, in my defense, I was living such a whirlwind, crazy life. I was actually still attending church while I was a drug addict because my relationship.
But you're off the drugs. You're not stripping anymore.
Yeah.
You go to church. You meet this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what happened?
So then I got pregnant. About, I guess, I don't know, 6 months to a year in.
So I wonder, was the guy responsible for bringing her to church?
No, she said she was already attending church.
Yeah, she said when she was on drugs, she was kind of going.
Yeah, and then she was already clean at that time. But that's the part of that's the other dark side of church. It's where somebody knows your sin and they're using the sin above you, but you don't know their sin is not equal footing. So this man possibly, I won't say possibly, was in leadership. And now that she's pregnant, two things that's going to happen, right? One, he gets exposed and then he gets kicked out, or two, they have to get married.
Oh, okay.
But and he don't want neither one of them, and that's why he's pushing for her to delete the baby.
We're a scumbag, though.
Yeah.
And so he was manipulating me to get the abortion for one main reason. He didn't want anyone in the church to know that he was sleeping with someone before he was married, or that he wasn't this upright, outstanding, Jesus-following person that everyone thought he was. And anyway, the manipulation continued.
Weren't you supposed to be too? Because you were going to the church?
Yeah, but I knew I wasn't. I knew that I wasn't. I knew I had a lot of work to do with the Lord. I knew that I wasn't following Jesus, that I was turning my life around. He believed that he was like pastor material. Just let it dissect. Just digest.
Yeah, I'm digesting it.
Oh, before we play this heartfelt intermission, right? Oh man, it's a lot.
Hey, what's Wally? Wally, this is for you. Hopefully you still hear Wally.
Hopefully so. I mean, he can always catch a replay, right? You know, on his Xbox. But okay, so I'm just digesting this stuff because, like, all right, he pretty much like just did what he needed to do. Of course, I'm assuming like she, you know, deleted the baby, which is unfortunate. Which, you know, that's why it's always good to like wrap it up before digging it in. But it really makes me super. Now this puts me as opposed to being judgy, right, towards someone, because I just can't stand fake dudes, man. Like the ones that's like, you're holy endowed, but your pride is so high up there that you're willing, right, to pretty much delete like an unborn child and ruin the other person's, you know, spiritual life in the church, get her kicked out because you still want to assume that image of yourself as being like a man of God. Yeah. And to me, like, this is kind of like one of the things that like it really like propels me like away from just like church people, period, or just anything that has something to do with religion. And I know there's some good people, there's some really good, friendly folks, but I just don't trust y'all like that. I trust you enough to like tell, you know, discuss certain things or have certain conversations. But as far as like joining an organization, like that's where I kind of like draw the line.
But I think I don't. I don't think you got to take such a strong stance because, man, I just think, man, it's how you go into the church. So first of all, you're supposed to be like, I'll say knowledgeable and, the Bible itself. And I think a lot of people, man, they're going into there and they're reliant on like a church leadership to break stuff down from them. So it creates that dependency and stuff. And then also it's just like, man, you're supposed to have fellowship, but you're also, you don't need to go in there and like, how people are going there kind of dating and stuff. It's like, man, you got to have that separation. Like, I'm here for the word and stuff. If you meet somebody, then it should be a little more organic versus somebody, kind of like y'all was saying before, pushing you into a relationship. And that's what it sounds like the issue is in a lot of these cases.
About you reading the Bible, but also like you do need some guidance in it because they'll bring up there's a scripture about the Ethiopian eunuch. I don't know, that's also in Acts M3. Like he needs some help reading the Bible, and he do need understanding. We also look at the Bereans, which also I think that's from the books of Acts. It's like people do need help studying, and that's if you meet somebody that has the right heart, you're gonna do good. But also in Philippians, it does teach like God would expose things, and those bad teachers will be kicked off, and you're good because your intention was pure. That's why I'll never go ahead and get baptized again. My intention was pure. I got baptized. I'm done with it. I'll never do it again. Yeah. But a lot of times that is the job of the church, is to teach and to guide, but also at the same time to understand that, hey, this might be pre through K. This might be preschool to kindergarten for you, and you're gonna go to another church in a year or two or whatever, right? Everything leads to another thing, but to entrap people, which the leadership that she got, the man was above her. And a lot of times when you're in leadership, and this is all leadership, you're above somebody, there's a responsibility, but other people don't see it as responsibility. They see it more of, I can get me some and I can control somebody. So sadly, this happens with jobs. This happens with other organizations. So she got caught up because here was a man of God.
But she was broken too. And that's why I'm saying, like, definitely I agree with you with leadership. Like, you shouldn't be doing that if you're in a leadership position. But we all know you can't be naive that everybody's going to operate out of morality. Yeah, but so it's just like you have to have like some intelligence, and you got to kind of be observant to who's around you. So it's just like, man, you just can't, if somebody gives you the word, they're going to teach you in a certain way, and then you're supposed to take it back and like break it down and try to absorb it and learn it with that. So I think just people get a dependency. Hey, how you doing, Bolo?
What's up, Bolo?
What's up, Bolo TV?
What's going on, guys? How y'all feeling?
What's up?
Doing good.
I think like for somebody like her, right? It's the whole thing of like she trusts, and also like the structure of the church. But I think for him, this guy, he knew what he was doing. I'm sure this wasn't the first woman he done this to. No. There's some people. This how they get valleys.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of like, a few corrupt men, and they still like gonna mask like, hey, like they're right with God because like they still they've been baptized, they still go to church, they still perform certain duties and all that, and give out certain lessons. So, but it is unfortunate because then you hurt the faith of the next person.
But which is good for her. She didn't. She still became a Christian. Like she still stayed. Like right.
She still stayed.
She still stayed, even though that happened to her.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's good. She kept
her faith, and she didn't go backwards, which was good for her. Like she didn't go back into doing crystal meth and back to stripping. So that was, unfortunately, she had to go through this. But I'm glad that she just didn't go back and she went forward.
Well, at least that was a good, valuable lesson that strengthened her character as opposed to regressing. Before I get Bolo TV's take into it, right? I want to just play this little intermission because.
Oh, hold on, man. I want to get his take because I got before we go into that. I want to hear about the Hosea stuff if he could break that down. Because it was weird before I was thinking of his name, and I was like, damn, I wish Bolo was around to break this down. And when I saw him in the comments, man, that was crazy.
What's the question? What's going on?
So, Stan, can you give us some background what you was talking about?
Oh yeah. So the gentleman on the when we saw the replay, he was talking about how church men should have the right to say no to women that had a sexual past, like prostitution. I mentioned that like he can't do that in church because church is against that because like there's a book of Hosea. So for men like this, you might say like Proverbs says but I'm like, yo, the book of Hosea is about like God calling the priests to go ahead and marry a prostitute. And each time that prostitute went out to bring her back, she came back with a child that wasn't his. And he claimed that child as his own. And he constantly pulled her back. And that's how that's how God loved us. And that's what he's trying to teach the children teach the children of Israel, like, hey, this is how God loved us. So we should be this loving to others. So that's why I say, like, the church has the book of Hosea, but also at the same time, that book is not as sexy as the book of Ruth. A lot of churches can't sell the book of Hosea like it can sell the book of Ruth, Psalms, and Proverbs.
Okay.
So Bolo, what was the like story for Hosea? Or the message that God was trying to relay, I guess.
The redemption, the
okay.
relationship that he has with his people. That's the message. That, no matter how many times that they have gone astray and played the whore. And what do you mean by whore? By sleeping with other gods, allowing other gods to penetrate their soul and their spirit. That he would always stay faithful to the promises that he made to their forefathers, right? So it's kind of funny that people always talk about, first of all, it's your choice on whether you want to deal with the woman that's had a promiscuous past. That's your choice, right? However, this is what you have to understand. Everyone has a past. And that's the difference between the covenant of Moses and the covenant of Christ. The covenant of Christ brought you grace and it brought you mercy. This is what the covenant of Moses didn't bring. Covenant of Moses was, once we found you doing whatever you were doing, whatever the punishment is what you get, right? But when you read the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 1, Jeremiah says, they say if a man divorces his wife and she goes from him and become another man's, may he return to her again. So it's a question. So if I divorce my wife and she gets with another dude, should I get with that chick again? Would not that land be greatly polluted? Absolutely it would. Right? So it kind of imitates what Hosea is talking about, right? But this is the answer he gives to that. Now, we have to understand that there's a hierarchy that we deal with, right? When you read 1 Corinthians chapter 13, I believe it is, the Lord tells you it's God over Christ, Christ over man, man over woman, woman over child, right? So when he talks about, the Lord deals with a hierarchy. That's just how he works. So when he talks about marriage, quite literally, he breaks it down that he was married to the men of Israel. Right? That's why he would say, wives, learn from your husbands at home. I'm going to teach my wife. He's going to turn around and teach his wife. Does that make sense? Okay. So he says to his wife, which are the men, but you have played the harlot with many lovers. So he's giving you the example because men today in this red pill thought process, their thought process is if this woman has a promiscuous past, she's out of bounds. I ain't dealing with her. I'm shutting it down. But the Lord in Isaiah 3 is saying that they say if a man divorces a wife and she goes from him and become another man's wife, may he return to her again. Would not the land be greatly polluted? Question. It's a rhetorical question. But then he comes back and says, but you've played the harlot with many lovers. So that same judgment that you have towards women, I'm going to have towards you. So we have to understand that Christ came to bring mercy and grace. And what's how you finish that verse off? He says, yet return to me, says the Lord. So he still tells his people, come back. When you read, we've been given this book from the wrong perspective here in America, here on the western side of the world. We read this book from the creature's perspective opposed to the creator's perspective. When you read from the creator's perspective, what you're getting is a father, a husband, a protector, a guider, a leader, a nurturer who's waiting for these insolent children, this insolent wife, to get her act together, to get their act together and come back and acknowledge them. That's what Hosea is about. Hosea is about them acknowledging and him giving them a history lesson that we've been off. I mean, when you read Hosea 4 and 6, you know what it says? It says, and this is the Lord speaking, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because you have rejected knowledge. I will also reject you from being a priest to me because you have forgotten the law of your God. I will also forget your children. So when we look at the book in itself and taking yourself out of it, because a lot of the times we try to inject our personal feelings into the book, and this is why we have such complications understanding it. It was written for us, not to us. Does that make sense? Yeah. So in other words, it was given for us to learn from these men and women that would go through the plight. We learn from what they went through. Okay. It's the same way if any of you fellas have children, the plight that you go through is for you to give it to your children and say, this is not theory anymore. This isn't theory anymore. I've taken it out of the lab. I went into the real world. This is fact. Let me give you this information and you stand on it, right? And become better than I do. But what a lot of us do when we give our children the information and the knowledge and wisdom that we've learned, we also give it to them without fear. And that's a big problem. Instead of just giving them the information, we give them the fear. We don't just give them, we don't warn them. We tend to give them our fear, give them our hatred, give them our anger. And this is why our children repeat or make the same mistakes that we did. So when you're reading Hosea, Hosea was the physical embodiment of what the nation of Israel was doing physically to God. This woman slept with so many different dudes. He forced Hosea to go pay off the debts that she had to these male suitors and then wife her. It's the same difference when the Lord tells you, before you go out there and judge somebody, I'm gonna judge you the same way, right? You physically look at the covenant of Moses and Christ's work when they brought the prostitute. Remember when they brought the prostitute to Christ and he was writing on the floor?
Yeah.
And they was like, well, we caught her. Now, this is what you got to look at. This is how the men were so wicked. They caught this chick in the middle of having sex. That means both of these people are butt naked. They only brought the woman. They didn't bring the man, right? They threw him to Christ. Now I'm paraphrasing. Now, obviously, she's been caught sinning. And the punishment for what she's done is death. Christ didn't go against that. Christ said, he who has no sin cast the first stone. So in other words, she got caught physically, but you guys are just as evil. Y'all just didn't get caught doing it. That's the difference. So you see, so if I knew sophisticated jerk and me and Stanley Joseph had problems and I'm one of the delegates, I'm a Pharisees or a Sadducees, and we catch sophisticated jerk stealing, whatever the punishment was, because you my man, I'm gonna give you a slap on the wrist. But because I don't know Stanley, or because me and him might have beef, I'm giving him the fullest extent. That's why the scripture says that the hearts were cold, because the way they delegated the law was off and wrong. They didn't delegate it with love, mercy, grace, understanding, temperance, patience, long suffering, stillness. They didn't give it that way. You dig what I'm saying? So if I knew someone up in the higher rankings, I was good. Right. So that's the problem. So when Christ came along, he came to take the power away. Remember, everything in the Old Testament was a shadow of what was to come. Let me give you an example. When you look at the earth, when the Lord flooded the earth, right, with Noah's Ark, what was the purpose of that? He had this man talk for 120 years and 7 days. 120 years and 7 days about rain. Nobody listened. They didn't even pay attention for that 7 days when the animals were walking 2 by 2 into the boat. Wouldn't you find that peculiar? That animals are in line walking into a damn boat? They didn't find that peculiar. So a lot of people get this messed up. Who do you think closed the door in the ark? Sophisticated jerk. Who do you think closed the door?
I would say God. Huh?
Good answer. God did. Why? Because if you're hearing your people, your family calling your name, sophisticated, open the door. We believe now. You're going to open the door. But what did the Lord say? It's too late.
Yep, too late.
So
they didn't know what rain was.
So that was Noah's Ark. Then you have the Passover, right? If none of you had the lamb's blood on the door jamb, you died. Yep. And I mean, the Lord killed the firstborn of Egypt. He killed the firstborn of the calves. He was killing animals too. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have the Holy Spirit, if you don't have Christ in your heart, when that angel of death passes through, guess what? You're caught up. Now you have Noah's Ark. There's a timetable to this. So all of these things are culmination to now. And this is what they don't want us to get, right? The same thing with the church. You see how the Lord was so specific on building the tabernacle? I'm talking about he spent chapters in building the tabernacle. He spent chapters on how you should reverence the tabernacle, how you should, fast before you come in, and how you should take your shoes off because this is holy ground, and all these different things. There was a reason why he said that. Because if you can treat an inanimate object with this much respect, how much more should you treat the living temple, which is you? Right? The Lord told you that you are my living church. So what he would do is get you to focus on this inanimate object and say, how much more you? Because you want me to live in you. How am I going to live in something polluted? So if I can reverence this car, treat this car beautifully, clean the car, respect the car, take my shoes off and fast before I get into the car, how much more should I do for myself? So these are all the things that the Father wanted us to focus on. It's not about us. Being a husband or being a wife is not an entitlement. It's a service. It's a service. Me being a husband, it's a service to my family. That's what it is. My wife being my wife is a service. She ain't no damn baby. She ain't supposed to stay home. I don't understand where people get that women stayed home and men just did everything. Where do you get that from? It's not in the scriptures.
It's not. They avoid the Proverbs 31.
Right. The Proverbs 31 woman, she worked, my G. She worked. In fact, she got up early in the morning like the merchant ship and worked. So I don't understand where we get, we try to take biblical scriptures and apply them to a carnal lifestyle, and it doesn't work. It's not going to work because the nuance in it, the spiritual connection that you're supposed to have with Christ, you're not going to have. And here's the last statement I'll make. What did these guys have in common? Daniel, Meshach, Shadrach, Abednego, David. What did they all have in common before they got into drama?
It was like the fellowship with God, praying
to
God.
There you go. They all had a relationship with God, my G. They all had a relationship before they got into their beef, before they got into their hot sauce. Now, if you get into your hot sauce and you find Christ there, it's cool. However you find him, you find him. But you better understand that this is no longer a fleshly fight anymore. It's a spiritual battle. So Christ is looking at your heart. That's what he's looking at. Mm-hmm. So like M3 said, right, the scriptures tell you it's not what goes in a man that defiles him, it's what comes out. What's in me, you don't know. I'm fighting every day. It's when I commit myself to regurgitate and say, F you, jerk. Now you know how I feel. Now you know what it is. There is no thinking about it. It's said. That fight, you don't have to think about it no more. I just put it out there into the ether. Now you know what it is, and we move accordingly to what was said. So This is an everyday battle. An everyday battle. So the story of Hosea is a physical representation of what, and the Lord would use the prophets as examples to his, to the rest of the nation, just like you, right? He might use you. A lot of the times we go through things, we don't go through things for ourselves. We go through things sometimes to be that example or that light to somebody else. So
and is that James 1:1?
I believe it is. So when you pray for strength and you pray for patience and you pray for longevity and you pray for that, what do you think? Is this an upload? You go to sleep, he uploads. He gonna put you in. He's gonna put you in a place where you need some strength, my G. He gonna put you in it. He's gonna put you in a place where you need patience. And here's the difference between him and George Bush. He ain't gonna pass you because you 35. He gonna keep you in the third grade with them 30, whether you 35 or not. You got to get them grades. You got to learn what you need to learn. And that brings me to this. And I know I said I'd stop, but I'm long-winded. When you look at the story of Joseph, here's a brother that was talking to his father and said, Father, I had a dream that my other brothers was gonna bow down to me. The brothers heard this. The father told him, don't let your brothers hear it, man. But they already heard it. They sold this dude into slavery to the Egyptians. Okay? To a nation that he couldn't even speak the same language. It's his brother now, his brothers. Now, Joseph was a good-looking kid. So this chick in his master's house wanted to sleep with him, the wife. And he was like, nah, you want my master to kill me? So she tried to grab his clothes to, let's smash. And he was like, nah. So she ripped some of his clothes. And when he ran off, she said, listen, he tried to take it. They incarcerated the dude. Now, long story short, fast forward, he's talking to two people in the jail cell. One is a cook and the other is a centurion. He tells the cook, yo, listen, man, tell me about the dream you had. He said, I had this dream. He said, listen, man, you're going to be back cooking for Pharaoh. He told the centurion, they're going to kill you. They're going to hang you. So as it happens, it happened. So Pharaoh has this dream that he just can't get no one to answer. He brings in his sorcerers. He brings everybody. They can't answer it. So the cook said, listen, man, there's a dude in the jail right now that you got that answered my dreams. So he comes to Joseph and he says, listen, man, if you answer this, you're going to be second in command to only me. When people see you, they see me. He answered it. So long story short, this dude now, he dresses as an Egyptian. He looks like an Egyptian. So as all of this is going on, his father, Israel, thinks that he's dead. So now the 70 Israel that was left had to find a place to rest because there was a famine coming. And I don't want to, tell you the whole story, but there was a famine coming. So he recognizes the brothers, but the brothers don't recognize him. And he goes into the back and he starts crying because he's taken with such emotion. So he says to the brothers, yo, you guys don't remember me? And they was like, no. He said, yo, I'm your brother Joseph. And they get scared because this dude is the man. He says to them, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. See, what happens is a lot of the times when we go through our pain and we go through our trials and tribulations, we stay in the why. Why is this happening to me? Why not, why not somebody else instead of the what? What is it that the Lord wants me to learn from this situation? You feel me? So what he says to them is, I understand why y'all did what y'all did. The Lord put me here and made me the man I am because, again, remember what I said to Sophisticated Jerk. Remember, the Lord, everything that you learn is not only for you, it's for other people.
Yep.
He said, the Lord put me through what I went through for this day to give my family a place to stay. So while all of these things are going on, you don't understand who you are in the Father. The Father wants you to focus on the now. We're so focused on the past and the future, and we miss the now, the present. Either we're so caught up in the past that we don't understand what's going on and we're so stuck there, or we're so working towards the future that we don't realize what we're missing in the moment. And the Lord tells you that. Why are you so caught up in the future? It may not be for you. You may be saving all that money for somebody else. There's something that I need you to focus on right now. And that's the point.
Hey, Bolo, can
Yes.
you mention, like, it's also in the Bible what David wanted to build a temple, but he had to build it for the future, although he'll never see it.
David, that was God's man too. David, the Lord said David was a man after my own heart, but David killed too many people. The Lord said, he wanted to build a house, a temple. And the Lord said, nah, your hands is too bloody. Your son will build it, which was Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of the times our issue as man, and when I say men, I mean both men and women, our ego. And this is why I tell you, I don't want the good of man, because the good of man is always attached to something selfish, self-gratifying. When you look at the goodness of Christ, it was about service. What could we give Christ, Mom G? Christ came down here, and when he was talking to the Pharisees and Sadducees, and they said, yo, Duke, I have the power to kill you. He said, my dude, do you understand that I lay my life down so I can pick it up? And shook the temple? He said, man, I got legions of angels. I can zap all you dudes if I want to. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to be the example for these people that I need to follow me. I need them to be that example. Understand the power that this man had. You feel what I'm saying? So, people really don't understand the gravity of this book and understand the entirety of understanding it. You have to have an intimate relationship with God. If your relationship is only going to be when you need something, you pick up the phone. I'm not picking up the phone. If I only called M3 when I needed money, you know what M3 going to do after a while when he see Bolo number? He going to send me a voicemail. And I might just be calling the dude just to say, how you doing? But the 10 times before that, I called him for bread. We can't use God as our in case of emergency glass. He shouldn't be our last priority. He should be our first line of defense. And that's the point. Because now I can trust a person that has the same goals as Christ. I don't have to question your character. I question you when you say, nah, I'm just in the world. Well, the world right now don't even know what a woman is. So that means you're in flux. You're not static. I need someone to be in static, my G. I need someone that is steady, even keeled. He's not a double-minded person. I need someone that is on point like a sniper. So that's what he's talking about. We need to stop holding women to a standard that we're not willing to hold men to. So when you say that because a woman has a past, and again, I'm not telling you to marry a chick that has 80 bodies under her. I'm not telling you that. What I'm saying is, don't hold her to a standard that you don't want to be held to. When you get out of jail and you've been there for 15 years and you want this girl just to give you a chance, you don't want her to hold your past against you. It's the same difference, my G. Same difference.
Well, Bold TV, man, I definitely appreciate you for cooking. Guys, it's almost 9 o'clock and I gotta get ready for work tomorrow. I was gonna play like this little video, but I'm like,
no.
Bolo killed it. We got in with that.
Yeah.
But Bolo, I got just one last question I got to ask Bolo about the church. What me and Stan was talking about as far as like leadership. Do you think sometimes people are too dependent on? And I know you kind of referenced it when you were just speaking, where it's just like you have to have that relationship with the word and stuff like that. But do you think people are too dependent on, I'll say, on like pastors and stuff to interpret things? Can that be dangerous sometimes?
Absolutely. Because here's the thing. Before Christ came, and I promise you, M3, this will be short. Here's the thing. Before Christ came, the Levites were the priests, right? You had 12 tribes of Israel. The Levi were the priests. So to talk to God, you went through the Levites. When Christ came, he broke all rules in the aspect of you don't need a Levite no more. Everybody has a direct connection to Christ. So again, it's good to have someone lead you when it comes to teaching you the scripture, because you need to be taught, right? Not everyone knows how to rightly divide the word. However, you need to open up that book and have a relationship, because by you reading yourself, you develop a relationship with the Father where the Holy Spirit will work in you, where you'll be able to understand what's going on. I don't need M3 to go talk to the Father. I don't need Creflo Dollar to go talk to God. I can go to him directly. But Jerk, I left my number. If you want to talk about the scriptures, give me a call.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you up. Definitely.
Any of you.
All right, for sure.
Appreciate it,
All right,
brother.
Bolo TV, man.
Last
Thank
night,
you
love
for
you all, brother. Good night.
All right.
Good night, Bolo.
All right, my G.
All right, man. So, man, this was like a good way to end it, right? So at least I could say like we could kind of end this off with a little bit peaceful. You know what I mean? Shout out to Von Brian, man. Thank you for tuning in as well too. But yeah,
So
man.
Stan knows some things, man. Okay, Stan knows the Bible a little bit. You know, he's on demon time sometimes, but he knew some stuff today, man. I'm a little shocked.
Baby.
Hey, that's how he send these girls to heaven, man. You gotta have somebody like Stan to convert them. But look, man, you know, I feel like tonight, man, like even though Lola didn't come up like she promised to, but you know, typical human being, right?
But we had Bolo come up, Bolo and Miss Polly. Bolo came and cooked it up at the end.
Yeah,
that was perfect timing, man. Because it was funny because I had his name in my head when I was like, man, somebody got to break that down for me.
Yeah, Bolo definitely like came through, man, and just pretty much deciphered it though. So
yeah.
See, it's streams like this though that I think it's very beneficial, especially for for us men, because we don't really have. I'm telling you right now, outside of what we're doing right now, we really don't have a platform to really speak in the public.
No,
can't say the things that you want to say at work. You can't say the things that you want to say like at home around like your spouses or significant others. You can't say the things that you really want to say with anyone that's female or beta, right? So you gotta actually really be. It's like you know your own truth. You already know what you see, what's going on around the world, but you gotta be cool and you gotta kind of shut up. You know what I mean? And that's the part that kind of sucks, because I think the more times that we actually try to remain stoic, try to remain silent, allow these divestors to yet be, well, it rhymes with the divestors, but with an M, you know what I mean? Lesters, you know, we lose like our power as men. And I'm glad that, you know, to come back, man, to have a platform that we speak and people actually do respect like our opinions, even though it could get a little wild up there, but hey, it is what it is. That's knowledge and relations for you. So
no, definitely, man. I think you spot on, and I like how, like I said, Bolo closed it out at the end. You know, breaking it down. You know, grace and all that, because you and Stan are hoes. You know, at the end of the day, so we got to give you guys grace. You know, we got to give other people grace too.
Wait, hold on. So first,
I'm joking.
You gotta remember, I'm a reborn again Christian. Stan is still a hoe.
Stan said he's practicing self-love out here.
Fuck up. They forget that they were sinners, and that's the crazy culture, is that people forget they were sinners before they became Christians, and then that there's a loss of compassion.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of it, because till y'all like he broke it down. Like I was like, I ain't messing with no, you know. But nah, it makes sense, because like you said, it's like if you operated the same way, then shit, who are you to really be calling somebody else? So yeah, no, good point, Stan. All right, man. I learned something from you today, Stan. Yeah. Appreciate you.
Yep, and that's why you need to listen to what's his name. There's a song that says, "Oh no, I want to sing that song," but it's definitely a good song. It's about like, hey, she might be this way, but she's hurting inside, and she need a man to show her the right way.
Oh hell no! We ain't going that damn far.
I'm sorry. Look, after all this,
I
like,
start singing some Tevin Campbell and stuff. Hey, we ain't going that far.
Yeah. Look, after tonight's Bible study, Stan, I don't have the patience for that. All right.
No, I know, but I think like this is important, like, because for the next generation of men, like it's important that we help them out, because that's the one thing that's not touched and shown light, is that how religion is used to fuel and misrepresent and also to use men. And so this podcast was great. Even though Lola didn't show up like she promised she would, Lola. And
well, to be fair, she showed up in the chat, so
yeah. We'll get her on another one.
Yeah.
But nah, great live though, man. I'm glad we did this, man.
Are we back on Saturday?
Yeah, we're back
absolutely.
Are we going to talk about Judge Mathis? Poor Judge Mathis.
Yeah, he's gotta get that work.
Mathis, though, but
he's gonna be a beast when he's done. When this, he's gonna come out with that Stacey Adams matching set with the shoes.
So you looking like a pimp out here?
Okay, he's gonna be an Oprah, like, who's gonna date the judge?
That clip was sad, man.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's like almost 50 years of marriage just gone, but like he's gonna be in a good place. Like,
you gotta understand, man. Like when you put like in a lot of investment to a woman, and you're not really expecting for that stuff to be happening to you, especially you've done your part to actually try to provide, but then yet you want to live a little. It just shows that, man, like people don't care about like your happiness, even if it's momentarily. Because in the clip, he was talking about maybe I spent too much time with my boys, too much time traveling. I didn't spend time.
Yeah, he did say that. Like I was having fun with my boys. I'm like, yo, like
I was like, if you don't get
he was going on class trips.
Not even that, but like he's having fun. But like at that age, let's be honest here. For us men, it's like us spending time together. One is rare, and two, at that age, you're not promised tomorrow. George might be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like the time that we spend, we enjoy because we're not promised tomorrow. We're men. We don't live that long life like women do. Women, y'all go on girls' trip. Y'all have brunches, lunches, dinners. Y'all do weekends. Y'all do cruises. Y'all go to Jamaica. We ain't gonna touch that. What y'all be doing in Jamaica?
What they doing in Jamaica? No, I'm joking.
But like they doing all that stuff, and I'm just like, yo, like he's spending time, like, with some friends. It's not like y'all poor. You could have went to LA with him and got a townhome. But it's sad to see like him just looking so.
Yeah, we can't give too much, man. We got to hit this on the weekend, right?
Yeah, that's true.
We gotta break this down.
Ladies, women the smoke because y'all looking like straight up villains, ladies. Y'all looking like villains.
Oh shoot.
Okay, Stan going in.
The only thing I can say is like, may divorce be with you. Like George Mathis, may divorce be with you.
Yeah, that brother looked hurt, man. I saw that clip, man.
Woo.
Yeah, man.
Next Essence Festival trip next year. That's what she's planning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel bad for him, man, because
I do too. I feel for him.
I mean, he was my favorite judge to look at, bro, and to see him in a state where it looked like he wanted to cry, but he knows that he's a man, so like you got to suck it up. That shit hard, man. So hopefully,
all the stuff he overcame too, because he was on drugs, went to community college, fixed his life, got married. Got 4 kids that's doing well.
Y'all giving out too much. We gotta save some of this for the weekend. Y'all giving too much out right now.
Right.
But you know what? Just like the sisterhood, though, this brotherhood, I'm going to take a lesson from the sisterhood. So, Mrs. Judge Mathis, when you become single, holler at a player.
You say you trying to cash out, huh?
I want to be flew out, Mrs. Judge Mathis. The Mrs. Fly me out. I'm single.
Stan, you gotta say that for another homosexual topic, though.
I have to put my bid in because she's gonna be single. She need a young man to like help her out.
Hey, look, in November and December time, it's gonna happen. Salute to Great Pill Podcast. Everybody check out Great Pill's podcast. He was doing a reaction video on the camera.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch the replay, Great Pill.
Yeah, definitely for sure though. But salutes to you. Look, man. So again, Saturday. While he's here, this Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. Okay. Oh wait, shit. Hold on. Let me see. Did I? Yep. Okay. This Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. We're gonna be talking about like Judge Mathis. All right. So stay tuned. Stick around for reckless like reviews with empty, sophisticated jury, and to stand the man as well too, because he be coming out there like putting the gasoline on the fire. So. With that being said, everybody, we are out. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Good night.
He says that gotta be a part 2 wild show. Yes. It's gonna be wild. Definitely indeed.
Yep, Mrs. Mathis, holla at a player. I'm a dirty red.
November. Stan, November. Save that for November, all right? Damn.
Stan said it's cuffing season out here.
Yeah, well, they try and get out of us early though. So where's the outro? Give a second because I'm a little rusty now. I'm trying to find the outro. So okay,
you out here struggling, man.
Yeah, he's trying to holler at Mrs. Mathis too.
He like, look. He said, forget what Stan said.
I'm a sub, etc. I'll be in the chat. Okay, for sure, man. Appreciate it. All right, guys, man. Take care.
All right. Catch y'all.
All
right, there we go. Oh, you got it?
Knowledge and relationships.